dais on the screen. I welcome on behalf of Pune branch to all of you in this program of industry content interactive meet of its CFOs and CEOs organized by Committee for Members in Industries and Business of ICAI and hosted by Pune branch of WRC of ICAI. I request Chairman of Pune ICIC Abhishek Dhamne kindly give your welcome address. Over to you, Abhishek.
Dignitaries on the dais, CA Rajesh Sharma, Chairman CMIB, CA Hansraj Chug, Vice Chairman CMIB, Central Council Member from Pune, CA CV Chitral Sir, Regional Council Member Yashwant Kasar, Vice President of ICAI, nearby Jambusaria, who would be joining us shortly, my Vice Chairman, CA Samir Ladda, Secretary and Treasurer Kashinath Pathare, dignitaries, those who have joined live, speakers, those who have joined from their respective places. A very good evening to all of you. It's indeed an honor to welcome you to this CEO and CFO Connect Meet organized by Committee for Members in Industry and Business and hosted by Pune branch of WRC of ICAI. At the outset, I would like to thank CA Rajesh Sharma sir and CA Hansraj Chugji for allotting this session. Not only he has allotted the session to Pune, but he's been gracious to travel all the way from Delhi to attend this function in a physical come virtual mode. I would also like to thank Chug sir, who has taken a flight in the morning at 5 o'clock from Bangalore, and he has traveled to Pune. Shri Niharbai Jambusaria, Vice President, he's also traveled from Mumbai to Pune for this program. So I welcome all of you, and it's indeed an honor for Pune branch to have you all on the forum of Pune ICAI physically. Dear members, as you are aware that Committee for Members in Industry is taking various initiatives, we would like to hear from Rajesh Sharma sir and Hansraj Chugji on those initiatives. This year being what we say a different year, the program is organized physical come virtual mode, and a number of participants have around 25 CFOs have joined from Pune and physically in this auditorium, and many of the CFOs have joined virtually. CFO and CEO being a chartered accountant, it is one of the wonderful conference wherein we will be having luminaries in respective industry. So this year what we have done, rather than having 1.5 hour or 2 hour session from the panel or something, we have planned for industry talk wherein respective industry expert would be delivering, who has delivered as a CEO, CFO in the organization, who would be taking us through the nuances of that respective segment for 15 to 20 minutes. I would like to thank Murtuja Kachwala for helping us to find the faculties. He would be also joining us shortly. So I wish you all happy learning in this, and we look forward to interact with you on various other occasions. Please do share your feedback for the program. I hope it will be a wonderful interaction over this CEO CFO meet. So with this, I hand over it to Samir.
Thank you, Abhishek. It's my great pleasure to introduce our beloved Central Council member, CV Chitral, very from our own Pune. Member Central Council of ICAI in 2019-22. He is Chairman of Corporate Laws, Corporate Governance Committee and Vice Chairman Committee of Public and Government Financial Management. member of various standing and non-standing committees like Direct Taxation Committee, Indirect Taxation Committee, and various other committees. He had been managing committee member Pune branch and also chairman of Pune branch of ICAI during 88-89. Chairman Direct Tax Committee of MCCI, Pune, and Maratha Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Agriculture, Mumbai. He was treasurer of Maratha Chamber of Commerce and during 2002 to 8 and also 2012 to 18. He was nominated on Cost Accounting Standard Boards and Cost Auditing and Assurance Standards Boards of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. He has contributed draft textbooks which have been adopted as a study material for intermediate and final curriculum of Institute of Cost Accountants of India. He has written several articles in newspapers and periodicals including the Economics Times, Chartered Account Journal, Management Accountant, Taxman, and various others. I request Chitresh sir kindly give your opening remarks for the session. Over to Chitresh sir.
Good evening, Honorable Chairman, Committee for Members in Industry and Business, TA Rajesh Sharma, Honorable Vice Chairman of this committee, TA Hansraj Chugh, my colleague from Regional Council, Yashwant Kasar, Chairman Pune Branch and Vice Chairman Pune Branch, Abhishek Dhamne and Samir Ladda, Chair, Asian Oceanic Standard Setter Group, and available in audience, TA Dr. S.B. Zaure. Soon we will be joined by Honorable Vice President, Chairman WRC and others. So friends, this is the opening session for the members from industry, and our committee is very keen to interact with them. This is the sole reason that Chairman and Vice Chairman both of this committee have come to Pune. I am indeed heartened to note that post-COVID pandemic, now we have gradually started the normalcy, and this particular program also depicts that normalcy, that besides this particular program being organized on e-mode, we are also having some of our members physically present in this particular hall. So I welcome you one and all. Friends, in initial remarks, Chairman said that this is a pandemic year and this is very trying year. Yes, indeed, it is a trying year, and it was so for this committee of members in industry and business as well. But its dynamic chairman and vice chairman have made recruitments which were not done in even normal years. At the outset, let me compliment both of them for their stupendous work during even this trying period. Ahead of this meeting, in the morning, we had one meeting with TAs from cooperative banks who are on the board, who are CFOs, who are CEOs of the cooperative bank. This particular CA Corp has been recently constituted because it is noticed that the cooperative banking field has also traveled miles. It has made progress in leaps and bounds, and some of the banks in cooperative sector are even doing wonderful job than the banks in private sector or nationalized banks. So these cooperative banks also offer tremendous career opportunity for chartered accountants. And this CACOB, who is spearheaded by CA S.B. Zaure, CA Milind Kale from Cosmos Bank, CA Yashwant Kasar from Cosmos Bank and others, and headed by CA Suresh Prabhuji, the former Union Minister. So there was a proposal to our committee of members in industry and business that we would like to have chartered accountants recruited to this particular field. And for that meeting also, both chairman and vice chairman graciously agreed to come to Pune, and they have attended this meeting. And not only the meeting has been attended and MOU etc. has been drawn, but even action plan has been drawn, and the first such recruitment drive will be unfolded in the month of January 2021. Right, Chairman sir? Yes. Exactly. So from that meeting itself, the chairman has instructed the office and the steps have already been taken. And ahead of this particular recruitment drive, there will also be a seminar or a webinar wherein the profession will be unfolded about the career, the prospects and the expectations of this particular cooperative field, so that with eyes open, should you decide to join cooperative sector, I think the opportunity is available. Friends, if you consider the profession, earlier it was predominantly by the professionals who were in practice. But after, say, 90s, after opening up, when the companies increased their size in leaps and bounds, greater roles were given for professional management, and really there was a demarking line between the ownership and the management, and everything was left to the professional management. And those companies, those corporates which left it to the professional management progress tremendously, both within India and abroad. Therefore, gradually there has been shift of the professionals from practice to joining industry, joining trade, joining commerce. Some of them have also spearheaded activities in trade commerce industry, while others are in service role in this trade commerce and industry. But they are owning up responsibilities, taking greater challenges and really leading the industry from the front. Therefore, this percentage is gradually increasing and it will cross 50% even in days to come. So the role of this particular industry, the committee for members in industry and business becomes very important. So what are various issues those members face? What are the training, what are the knowledge exposure they want to be having at the instance of the institute? What changes in curriculum are required right at the student stage? So all these issues and feedback, the institute is graciously accepting from members who are in industry, who are whether service, whether manufacturing or any other industry. And such seminars and interactions is one more occasion for the profession to understand what are the laurels that the members from industry have achieved, how the struggle was there, what are the keys for their success for others to emulate, and really for the professionals, particularly the young entrants, to have learning lessons, the wisdom of decades garnered by them to be shared in a capsuled manner. So I am sure that whatever itinerary that has been selected for this particular seminar and really carefully crafted by chairman and vice chairman along with local team will definitely provide these inputs. So more and more such programs, if they happen, definitely more and more professionals will be guided and they would also tread the path of progress. In fact, one such opportunity is also thrown open by our Accounting Standards Board when CA Dr. S.B. Zavre was chairman, and we have embraced IFRS and in an Indian format, India AS. So actually this is the language which accountants need to earn, and if really one wants to work abroad and if you know IFRS or Ind AS, you will find yourself easily employable, even not only India but beyond India. Vice chairman of this committee, C. Hansraj Chugh, is also chairman of the committee for opportunities abroad for the members, and he has recently published a booklet wherein opportunities in various countries abroad and what are expectations of those countries are also enlisted. I am sure this book will definitely be a guide to those who want to work abroad, and of course same will also be guiding for those who want to work in India as well, because India is also no less than any other foreign country. So I also compliment C. Hansraj Chugh for this very useful contribution for the benefit of the profession. Locally at Pune branch, we are taking keen interest for organizing various programs for the benefit of members, both in practice as well as in service. In fact, when I was discussing at Delhi with Rajesh Sharma regarding this industry, he also invited my attention to the fact that if the industry chartered accountants want to have their own separate study circle, he will be very keen in sanctioning that study circle and spearheading their activities, so that the topics which are peculiar to the industry and which one wants to discuss with industry peers, that can be discussed at a regular interval. So these are unique initiatives being taken at the region, at center, and also at branch level for the benefit of members in the industry. I am sure that whatever feedback you have, whatever suggestions you have for the functioning, for your betterment, I think if you make to the institute or to the local branch, we will take it to the logical conclusion. I thank all of you for joining this particular event in a big number, and I'm sure that whatever subsequent events we organize will also receive your patronage in a similar manner. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, Chite sir. It's my great pleasure to introduce our Central Council member, C. Hansraj Chuk sir. He is FCA by qualification, FCA fellow company secretary and LLB. He has been more than 9 years experience in the professional practice related to foreign trade policy, goods and service tax, customs, FEMA, banking related laws. He is a founder partner in Messrs. ASHM Associates Chartered Account, New Delhi. He serves to various Indian corporates and MNCs in the above area of practice. Presently, he is Central Council member of ICAI for term 1922 and has been nominated as a chairman of Committee for Export of CA Service and WTO 2020-21. Chairman of International Placement Directory, Vice Chairman of Committee for Members in Industry and Business for the year 1920 and 2021. He has also served the profession of Chartered Accountants as member of NIRC of ICAI for 2 terms and held the position as a secretary during the period of 2010-11 and vice chairman during 2015-16. He is a regular speaker on GST, foreign trade policy, custom law, insolvency and bankruptcy code. He is also board member of Indian Institute of Insolvency Professionals of ICAI. I request Regional Council member Yashwant Ji Kasar to felicitate Chuk sir. Thank you, Yashwant. I request Chuk sir kindly share your words of knowledge with us.
Thank you, Samirji. My chairman of the Committee for Member Industry and Business, C.A. Rajesh Sharma ji, my good friend in the council and a very knowledgeable and connected person from a city like Pune, which I admire. Ki if I would have settled here, so the things would have been how good it would have been. But since my student time when I used to be an article, I have memories of this very place. I visited for some audit here in Pune. So that memories are still, whenever I think of Pune, so it goes live. And the past council member and the very dynamic and my elder brother, Javre Saab, I have a memories from when I was the regional council member. So since then, the brotherhood and the relationship which I get from him, that goes in the mind and the heart also. And the friends from the Pune, the chairman, Abhishek ji, Samir ji, and the regional council representative Kasar ji, and the other friends from the industry, and some of our leaders, vice president is joining us, the regional council members are also likely to join us. Friends, it's well said the connect makes the difference. It is not by an individual. Individual is nothing in this world. It's the people around them, whether it is in the industry or in the practice or in the personal friendship or the life otherwise. It makes the difference. It enhances the power of knowledge by the discussion and the debate, the strength of the mind by learning from the others. And this profession has also connecting itself not within India, from the professional, from the globe also. And this technology things has made a lot of difference during the last few years, and particularly during this year itself. Best of the speakers, like I can remember with Pune only brought one of the gentlemen who is a luminary of the legal profession, Harish Salveji, to the program. Though it was a virtual program, Chitre Saab brought him to one of the programs which are been jointly organized by the CMIB and the CLCGC, where our Chitre Saab is the chairman of that particular committee. You see, like the journey this profession has traveled so far, and the way forward, we are a second amongst the globe where we find our place, and we are looking for the first numbers in the time to come. If our profession should reach to the first position in the time to come. It's not the profession will be driven by oneself, by itself. It's the leadership at the position. It's the members, those who are at the different positions across, whether it is the industry or the whether we talk about in the practice. Naturally, industry numbers are surpassing. To connect off those members, those who are at the top, whether it is the CEO or the CFO, these kind of programs makes the difference. I can see like this Pune branch is always proactive. Last year also I find a good program has been taken care by this Pune branch. This year also the first after the, though I will not say कि by COVID-19 or the Corona time has gone, but with a cautious manner, this has been in a hybrid mode with a physical as well as the virtual mode. This has been brought in, and these with the clarity. What all is the objective? So many good speakers from the different segments, different industry, whether it is from the any sector you name it, technology, service sector, in manufacturing sector, or issues related with the whatsoever is going on under the pandemic time, the health consciousness. It is the pillars. You see, like what a man is. Man is a strength. Professional is a more strengthful. Strength of the energy, strength of the intellects, strength of the mind, strength of the connect, spirituality. So these gives the way to succeed, way to progress. And as you reach further, so you have the duty to take care of those who are growing with. It goes like this only. As you reaches to a stage further, so you are bound to handhold those who need you. So we all, as whether it is the branch, whether it is the regional council or the council, they have to be working in that kind of manner. And same way the support should be from the industry also, from the friends from the industry, those who are working at a different level, whether it is the first level or the CEO or the CFO level, they have to remain connected with the ICAI. ICAI, though our chairman will be discussing in length, these, whether it is the study circle for the member in industry or the initiatives otherwise specifically meant for the members in industry, those are being taken care of. And this after the pandemic is over, or this period stress or this difficult time is over, so you will find a different place for this profession, because the profession is geared up with all the strength, whether it is the technology, whether it is the global system of the economy, Atmanirbhar things for the our economical system, our economy has to be driven with. It has to ultimately achieve the target of the $5 trillion economy, and it is the industry, our members in the industry and the banking or the service sector or the manufacturing sector or the technology sectors, they have to make the difference because they are in the main frame of development of the business where they are working with, and same is supported by the member, those who are into the profession. And hope this Pune branch will continue to give the hand holding, and I assure you that at the council level we are always whether me and the committee as a vice chairman in this particular committee or the committee for international development of the international trade services and WTO, being a chairman there, whenever they need any kind of support, I am there. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
sir.
the committee.
Now I will introduce one of others, Central Council member who is present with us here, Sri Rajesh Sharma ji. Rajesh Sharma sir is practicing chartered accountant from Delhi. He is elected to Central Council of ICAI from Northern Region, chairman of committee for members in industry and business. He was also chairman of Northern India Regional Council in 2011 and 12. He was government nominee, Central Council member of the Institute of Company Secretary of India. He is independent director of Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Bharat Public Sector Unit, and is the independent director on board of many other listed and unlisted companies. He is almost daily seen on TV debates on various subjects. He is a patron of some famous NGOs of country like Pragati Pathik Film and Theatre Society and Ankush. He is the president of POVS and office bearer of several renowned social organizations of the country. I request our Central Council member Chitra sir, please felicitate Rajesh Sharma sir on behalf of Pune ICAI.
Before felicitating Rajesh Bhai, his biodata is incomplete in the background of pandemic, because in COVID he must have given medicine to more than 10,000 persons to come out of COVID, maybe before COVID, after COVID, I mean, and he himself is the donor of plasma, and he is our connect with Parliament, because let me also announce that this time this Vivad Se Vishwas scheme was kicked off by Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji and Honorable Minister of Commerce Piyush Goyal ji from our institute's headquarters at New Delhi. And the architect of that particular meeting is no one but Rajesh Sharma. So whenever we have anything to do with government, he is our bridge between the ICAI and government.
Thank you, Chitra sir. I request Rajesh Sharma sir, please your views.
In absentia, our Vice President, who will be joining us shortly in another 10-15 minutes, Nihar Jambusaria ji. Why I said this? Because he is the second Vice President of ICAI and going to be President of ICAI who is from industry. And this committee is also of persons who are into industry. So it is a great privilege for all of us that persons who are into industry are at the position of Vice President and will be taking up as the President, sober person, down to earth, and very active and effective, hardworking, visionary leader. Of course, C.V. Chitle Saab, a person whom I met only in this council, but I've become a fan of his. A person so dedicated to profession, whenever it comes to any problem relating to profession, he tries his level best to ensure that things get done, I remember last year when certain issues with the government were there, he was always calling up, following up and getting the things done. The committee in which he is doing wonderful, and I've become a fan of his by seeing the way he works. Just now we were speaking of a program which was held here by our Pune persons and specifically Chitle Saab. I was participating in that program. He allowed me to participate there. It was attended by Salve Saab. Harish Salve is a chartered accountant. And few of the members who had put it in YouTube, I can say the individual view at different YouTubes were 30,000, 1 lakh and so only of that program, that particular clipping. So that is the way Harish Salve, who is also son of a chartered accountant, NKP Salve. I will be saying one thing very categorically. Whenever we think or whenever Indian government thinks to send someone to International Court of Justice, they cannot find any other name than another chartered accountant who is an advocate, Harish Salve. No other name comes in front. So, Chitle Saab, of course, the very dynamic, ever smiling, my brother Abhishek Damane from here, the chairman, and of course Mr. Ladda, who is again the student chairman who is looking after the activity in absentia Sandeep. My vice chairman, co-chairman, the person who had most of the activities which are being done in our committee, he is the man, he is the pillar behind who does everything, being on the back front. He is Mr. Hansraj Chugh, who have always stood like a pillar, very dedicated towards the profession. And I will be failing in the duty if I don't name a person who is a mentor, a guide, a person whose enthusiasm is above par, and I can say many amongst the persons who are sitting here. Here we are in less in number. Due to the pandemic, we have certain limitations that we cannot gather in more than 50 persons. So we have tried having within that limit. But many would be joining online. Javre Saab. Javre Saab is a mentor, a guide to me since the day I came to the council. His performance in council was outstanding. A high regarded person. If he says something, every council member used to follow that. Second thing I will be saying, post council, he had made a CA COB, that is chartered accountants who are into cooperative bank. And now he has joined them, made a group of them, so that in cooperative bank, chartered accountants will play a very major role. And it is a great initiative, Javre Saab. I salute you for that type of new initiative. If in all the cooperative banks, we have chartered accountants to lead the board or to manage the board or be in a forefront key managerial personal activity in the board, definitely I can say the cooperative banks will do better than the nationalized bank. I assure that. And a great step is started by Javre Saab. We'll be doing, ensuring that more chartered accountants join there. We'll be ensuring and pursuing with RBI and others so that chartered accountants are made must for cooperative bank. So way ahead we'll be working towards that. Today we had finalized, and as many of the things are told by Chitle Saab. A series of speakers who are here, I'll be just naming our chief guest for today, Mr. Adhar Poonawala, who in the world doesn't know him. We are thankful that he is today the chief guest. Our guest of honor, Mr. Robin Banerjee, then Harpreet Singh from healthcare, from real estate, Aniruddha Deshpande, from Pharma, Pramod Ghorpade, and from automobile, Suhas Kadlaskar, from IT industry, Anil Patwardhan, from manufacturing, Sandeep Batra. So we have a good galaxy of speakers now who will be speaking after me. So, who all are here and who have joined us on virtual mode. I welcome all of you to this TO-CFO meet. Friends, there was a time when everyone whosoever joined chartered accountancy, there was only one aim, to go into practice. But things have changed. Now if you check, 60% of our population of 3,60,000-70,000 chartered accountants across the country, 60% are into industry. So that is the strength of persons into industry. Second thing, I will be saying you all are ambassadors to this profession. Today I will also seek a help from all of you. Try to get more associated with ICAI and this committee. Whenever you get a chance, in your organization, try to recruit more chartered accountants. I'll be giving you an example. 4 years back, when I joined council, we requested ICAI to come to council, to the campus. They joined the campus. On the first year, they planned to take 200 persons. After taking 200 persons from the campus, seeing their performance, outperforming the MBAs, they were very sure that chartered accountants are the real need for the industry to take it to a greater height. The training which we do, the knowledge which we have, the wide curriculum which we have covered, the tough exam which we have passed, no one in this world can beat a chartered. Yeah, in some extracurricular activity, in some soft skills, I can say, and some of the areas, they are not that outspoken and they don't come in front and they are not that good in communication skills. We are developing a lot on that front also. Their MBAs do lead, but I can say in knowledge, chartered accountants cannot be compared. Why I said that? Because this year, ICAI had taken 600-700 persons. Again, they came and took 250 persons. In February, they have assured us to take 1,000 persons. That's the way whosoever takes chartered accountant is assured that he will be working hard to take that organization to a greater height. So I request all of you to be associated with ICAI. Ensure that you come to the campus. Even if you need 5, 10, 4 chartered accountants for your organization, please do come. If you need lesser persons, please put chartered accountants requirement in a portal which is there available for all of you. If you need chartered accountants, you put the requirement in the portal and you will get that. With that, I will request all of you to form study circles, read, research and update and upgrade your knowledge and come to even higher side. So, friends, at a younger age, our chartered accountants have done wonders. They are at helm of affairs at several places. The institute was started in the year 1949, even before the parliament bought the constitution. The lawmakers then knew without the Institute of Chartered Accountants, the country cannot grow. The finance cannot grow. We are custodian of country's wealth. So without us, the country cannot go. As rightly told by Hansraj Chugji, कि 5 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी तभी पूरी होगी जब चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स जान लगा करके मेहनत करेंगे, तभी हो सकती है, अदरवाइज नहीं. Friends, we have a greater role in the country and we have always done that and we have always proved that. हम बहुत मुश्किल से ये एग्जाम को पास करके आए. The letter CA which we have added to our name. Our name was given by our parents. Our surname came from forefathers. पर हमने बहुत मेहनत करी है, तब ये 2 लेटर अपने नाम के सामने जोड़े हैं, letter CA. And I can say that chartered accountants can do wonders. Wherever they are, they have done wonders. You'd have seen. I'm in Maharashtra, so I wanted to quote that one thing. Last tenure के अगर आप गवर्नमेंट के बारे में अगर आपने कहीं भी पढ़ा होगा कि कौन से 3 मंत्री की परफॉर्मेंस, 4 मंत्री की परफॉर्मेंस अगर अच्छी है, सबसे टॉप के 3 मंत्री जो कॉमन थे सब जगह, उसमें थे नितिन गडकरी, पीयूष गोयल एंड सुरेश प्रभु. मैं महाराष्ट्र की बात इसलिए कर रहा हूं कि वो तीनों ही महाराष्ट्र से हैं और उनमें से 2 चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हैं. तो दैट्स द वे. और मैं महाराष्ट्र के लिए ज्यादा बड़ाइयां इसलिए भी करता हूं, मेरी वाइफ भी महाराष्ट्र से है, घर भी जाना होता है ना. He is also a chartered accountant from Mumbai. So friends, we are custodian of country's wealth. चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जिस एरिया में चल जाते हैं, आप लोग सब महाराष्ट्र में लोग शेयर्स में बहुत पैसे लगाते हैं. दुनिया देखती है कि झुंझुनवाला जी किसमें पैसे लगाते हैं या नहीं लगाते. दुनिया देखती है, जो जिसमें लगाते हैं मैं भी लगा डालूं. खैर झुंझुनवाला जी समझदार है, जब आप लगाने जाते हो तो निकल जाते हो. तो इस तरीके से वेर एवर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स, इफ यू टेक ऑफ मिस्टर कुमार मंगलम बिरला, आई रिमेंबर अ कोट फ्रॉम हिम. He told that I don't know B of the business, but I can handle the business because I have done this course of chartered accountancy. Several other persons, if you see of the news magazines, आजकल पहले बहुत न्यूज मैगजीन्स आती थी, अब एक इंडिया टुडे छोड़ के कोई नहीं आती, उन्होंने चैनल भी बना लिया, वो भी एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का. Several other persons are there, long list is there, will not quote on that. तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जहां कहीं भी जाता है महारत हासिल करता है. हम तो दरिया है, हमें अपना हुनर मालूम है, जिस तरफ चल पड़ेंगे रास्ता बन जाएगा, और रास्ता बनाना जानता है. Friends, pandemic was a tough time for everyone, tough time for the whole industry as well as for we chartered accountants. ICAI had tried doing whatever best we can do. And I think one of the news covered that during the pandemic time, we had a campus, and in that campus, everyone thought that no one is going to recruit now because the condition of the whole industry is bad. I will proudly say you that the current condition, if you compare with the last post-pandemic campus, this time we have recruited 50% more chartered accountants, 50% more chartered accountants. That is the faith of the world on chartered accountant कि इस पेंडेमिक के समय में जब इतनी बुरी हालत इंडस्ट्री की है तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इसे बाहर निकाल सकता है, कोई और नहीं निकाल सकता है. Today also we had an example, a chartered accountant who was heading that rupee cooperative bank. उसकी हालत खराब हो गई थी, पर एक कॉस्मोस में रूपी कोऑपरेटिव बैंक है, उसमें चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को जिम्मेवारी दी गई तो वो उसको बाहर निकाल रहे हैं, एंड ही इज मेकिंग प्रॉफिट्स. सो दैट इज द थिंग. सो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट कहीं भी चले जाए, इफ यू नो ऑफ द सत्यम, महितास एंड ऑल दोस, वहां पे भी हमारे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, एक जगह वेद जैन जी थे और दूसरे हमारे मनोहर जी थे. सो दे हैव डन वंडर्स एंड दे हैव मेड दोस इंडस्ट्रीज अगेन सर्वाइव. सो दिस इज द वे. चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट कहीं भी जाएगा वो अच्छा कर सकता है. एंड रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, चाहे वो कंडीशन अच्छी हो चाहे खराब हो इकोनॉमी की, कभी भी कम नहीं हो सकती. वी नीड योर गाइडेंस, योर कमिटी नीड योर सपोर्ट ऑलवेज. As I always told, you need to repay back even to the profession, as we all are also doing. Hire some more chartered accountant. Try to do something for the future chartered accountants. Whatever we all are, it is due to our profession. So we need to repay back to the profession. एक छोटी सी कहानी आपको मेजर ध्यानचंद की बता के बात को खत्म करूंगा. मेजर ध्यानचंद बहुत अच्छे हॉकी प्लेयर थे. आई थिंक मेनी ऑफ यू नो इट वेल about one of the matches when he was in Germany. जर्मनी के उस मैच को बहुत फेमस भी हो गया था वो मैच. उसमें पहले मैच में जर्मनी से हार जाते हैं, और जर्मनी से हारने के बाद में वो रात भर सो नहीं पाते कि ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि आई हैव लॉस्ट दिस मैच. उसके बाद जितने भी मैचेस होते हैं, हंगरी के साथ, जापान, फ्रांस, 4 गोल से, किसी को 6 गोल से, किसी को 10-9 गोल से रोज हराते हैं. लास्ट में फिर फाइनल आता है उसी जर्मनी के साथ, और 8-1 से वो जर्मनी को हरा देते हैं. और उस टाइम पे जर्मनी में हिटलर को हार बर्दाश्त नहीं थी. वो फील्ड में आ जाते हैं, उसके बैट को तोड़ के देखते हैं कि इसमें चुंबक तो नहीं है, नहीं मिलता है. फिर शाम को उसको बुलाते हैं कि ऐसे कैसे हो गया, आप तुम कैसे जीते. एंड फाइनली टोल्ड कि यार तुमको अब मेरे लिए खेलना पड़ेगा, तुम आके जर्मनी में ज्वाइन कर लो. आप क्या करते हो? बोला मैं एक लांस नायक हूं इंडिया में, आर्मी में. बोला यहां मैं एडमिरल बनाऊंगा. और उस टाइम पे कोई आदमी किसी को जर्मनी का एडमिरल बनाए तो आर्मी का तो बहुत ही बड़ी चीज थी. बट ही टोल्ड कि मैंने जो कुछ भी पाया हूं इस जीवन में अपने देश से पाया हूं. मैं जो कुछ भी हूं अपने देश के चलते हूं, और जीवन की आखिरी सांस तक जो कुछ करूंगा अपने ही देश के लिए करूंगा. That is the way of repaying back. I told this story that we all have to repay back to this profession, कि हम अपने जीवन काल के अंत तक ये देखें कि प्रोफेशन और ऊपर तक जाए और ऊंचाइयों तक जाए. एंड that way we can do 2-3 things only, then I will be winding up. We have galaxy of speakers whom we want to listen. Campus of ICAI does campus twice a year. That is for normal fresh chartered accountant. Anyone of you need chartered accountant, even less in number, you can be part of that. Other than that, we have job fairs across the country. जब भी किसी को चाहिए, we call you for job fairs and you can take chartered accountants there. Third thing, if any person want to switch over his job, there is a career ascent plan in which we have different category, 3-year, 5-year, 10 years experienced persons. So if they want to switch over, this time career ascent was also a greatest hit. It was that too into the pandemic. लास्ट ईयर करियर एसेंट में वैकेंसीज 200-250 आई थी, इस बार के करियर एसेंट में 1000 वैकेंसीज आई. So I can say career ascent was also a hit. We have improved 4 times since last 2 years, we can say. So career ascent is there. There is a mentorship program also. Anyone among the senior chartered accountant, आपको हम 8-10 ऐसे नए chartered accountant दे देंगे. You can guide them a bit. कि वो अपने आप को improve करके और थोड़ा आगे ले जाए और आगे बढ़ जाए. So that also we can do. We have a job portal which is working very finely. So if anyone needs any chartered accountant, you can put directly in job portal and you can have, other than giving some advertisement across on some newspaper and other things. So that also you can do. And before winding up, remember a word of Swami Vivekananda. Arise, awake and stop not till the goal is achieved. We need to pump in confidence in ourselves. We need to take actions. We need to take timely actions. We should not waste time. Time को जो waste करता है, time उसे waste कर देता है. नहीं, वो time के लिए आ रहा है, मैं मेरा खत्म कर रहा हूँ. We need to set goals for ourselves and okay, he has written pay membership fees of 31/12 to 2020 before 31/12/2020. Fine. So with that final word from Edmund Hillary, मेरे को बहुत मोटिवेट किए थे वो वर्ड, तभी आपको बताना चाहता हूं. एडमंड हिलरी ने माउंट एवरेस्ट को जीतने की कोशिश करी थी, नहीं जीत पाए थे. नीचे आए, बहुत टचिंग वर्ड थे. यू माउंट एवरेस्ट, द ग्रेटेस्ट पीक ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, यू कैनॉट ग्रो एंड कैनॉट डेवलप. आई एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग will develop my confidence, develop my capabilities. One day I will conquer you, you will be below my feet. And that was done by Sir Edmund Hillary. इंसान अपने कॉन्फिडेंस और कैपेबिलिटीज को कितना भी इंप्रूव कर सकता है और कुछ भी अचीव कर सकता है, कुछ भी अचीव कर सकता है. ठान लोगे तो जीत है, मान लोगे तो हार. मुश्किलें तो आएंगी जीवन में, पर हमें वो डिटर्मिनेशन, स्ट्रांग विल होना चाहिए कि हम इसको तो पार करेंगे और वो मुश्किलों को छोड़ करके आगे बढ़ेंगे. मंजिल मिल ही जाती है भटक कर ही सही, गुमराह तो वो है जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. जो घर से निकल चुके हैं, जिन्होंने अपने गोल सेट कर लिए हैं और उसे दिल की धड़कन में बैठा के रख लिया है कि मुझे उसे अचीव करना है. हर धड़कन आपको याद दिलाती रहे और रोज शाम को आप कहो कि मैं अपने गोल के कितने और मुझे आज के दिन करीब आया हूं. इस तरह से अगर आप कैलकुलेट करोगे, दुनिया में आपके स्ट्रांग विल के सामने, स्ट्रांग डिटर्मिनेशन के सामने कोई नहीं टिक सकता. अगर आप समय का सही इस्तेमाल करोगे, एक्शंस लेते रहोगे और आगे बढ़ोगे. हम आईसीआई में अवार्ड के सेरेमनीज करते हैं. We'll be holding this award in Delhi on 23rd of January. I think nominations are open. This award is one of the very prestigious award. Last time I think Aditya Puri and lot other galaxy of persons got this award. Aditya Puri of HDFC. So lot of the persons do apply, and it is a very good and great award and a very prestigious award. Those who haven't applied, please apply for those awards. There are certain categories. It is not that you are on top category, then only you can apply. There are categories for everyone there. So please go ahead and apply for those awards. Be part of ICAI. Make study circles. Whatever way you can, try to support ICAI and be with ICAI. I'm really thankful to the whole galaxy of speakers who will be joining us here today and guiding all of persons who are attending from most of the parts of Maharashtra and specifically from Pune in best possible way in their respective fields. I'm really thankful to the Pune branch, very dynamic Pune branch, which have hold this program here today, and really thankful from the deep core of my heart to my, not only our council colleague, a person whom I think as a brother, C.V. Chitle Saab, for organizing such a program and giving us opportunity to interact with all of you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Before I introduce our next speaker, Sri Ravin Banerjee sir, who is joined virtually, I would like to inform that almost more than 1100 viewers I have joined virtually. So it is very good response for this wonderful session. Our next speaker is Robin Banerjee sir, who has joined virtually. Welcome Robin Banerjee sir on behalf of Pune ICAI. He is Managing Director, Caplins India Limited. He is Senior Professional Executive with over 35 years of experience in several large multinational corporates in more than 20 countries. He is Chartered Accountant, Cost and Management Accountant, Company Secretary, and has a Master's degree in Commerce. I request Banerjee sir, please take the charge of session. Over to you, Robin Banerjee sir.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. It seems my camera isn't working. I'm just trying to do that. Can you? I hope you can. Yes, I hope you can see me now. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm not too sure whether I am audible and am I clear? Not easy to do a virtual program.
Yes, sir. You are audible as well as visible now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad that today you are holding a virtual program plus a physical program. That's wonderful. I'm glad that I am able to share some of my views. The way I would like to structure my next 15-17 minutes is that I have been a finance professional, then I became a CFO, and then I became a CEO. So I would like to share, in my view, what I think are the gateways of success for finance professionals. Because if you're a financial professional and you're not a CFO, perhaps the first dream is to become a CFO. And once you become a CFO, I believe be the CFOs, mostly I think they are chartered accountants. The normal big dream is to have the corner office. Because I have gone through the journey, I would like to share what I believe are the cornerstones of success as we go along. Because we are talking about an issue that we are all from the industries, and there is, to my mind, a difference between success in the industry and success in the practice. Of course, the knowledge is common. We all have to have the common knowledge. Unless we know the subject, nothing happens. So first is, from a finance professional, how to become a successful CFO. I would like to point out to you 5 areas where we need to focus ourselves on. The first point is declutter your thought. I start with the word D, as you can well imagine. Declutter your thought, because many of us, sometimes we believe that we go round and round in circles. And what is important is that we need to focus on what is the problem on hand. And if you do not provide a solution, we do not provide what we are supposed to do. Our bosses wants to have solution and not to give them the problem. So first, to declutter your thought, which perhaps starts with the word D. The second is robustness of your health. If you are not well, if you are sick, we can't attend office all the time, then obviously we will not be able to progress ourselves. So robustness of our health, please do go to the gym, please do exercise yourself. Whether it is pandemic or not, I think we can all do some exercises so that we can remain fit. So the second word is robustness, and it starts with the word R. The third thing which I think we need to focus on is execution. Now, execution is very important, because once you are a finance professional and you want to become a CFO, what your employer wants, not give passion, not give big ideas, but we need to execute ourselves. It is very important that execution is what we can do. And while we are executing, it is important that we have a 360 degrees view of the business. We are, of course, accountants. Some of us are auditors. Some of us are internal auditors. Some of us are management accountants. Whatever we are, the important issue is that we need to have a 360 degrees view of the organization and be able to execute. So I talked about declutter your thought. Second, I talked about robustness of your health. Third, I talked about execution and 360 degrees. The next word I would like to explain to you is articulation, communication. Unless you are able to communicate both orally and written, the success is very difficult to come. There is a problem with chartered accountants as opposed to, let's say, an MBAs. The MBAs, the way they are taught, the way their pedagogy is, they keep discussing case studies. Unfortunately, we don't do. We do self-studies. We do have some little training program for the institute, but that perhaps is not good enough. But having said that, you must focus on your articulation. And the last one is M, is maturity. We, the chartered accountants and financial professionals, must show maturity, which is important that we should show maturity and positivity. If I may summarize the 5 words, I say D for declutter your thought, R for robustness of your health, E for execution, A for articulation, which means communication, and M for maturity and positivity. If you add all this, it works out to a word called dream, D-R-E-A-M. My dear friends, I believe that we are all dreaming to be successful. And one of the areas to become successful is perhaps attempt these 5 things which we want to do. Now, this is what I wanted to say, focus upon. If you are a financial professional, want to become a CFO, I think, and that's your dream, please try to exercise and execute these 5 little steps which I explained. Now, having become CFO, the next goal is we must become a CEO. Now, in order to become a CEO, of course, the original dream has to be there. You have to declutter your thought. You have to be, of course, resilient in your health. You obviously must execute. All that has to happen. You have to be articulative, and of course, you have to have maturity. But there is something else which is also required. Some more characteristics which I thought I must share with you on a day when we are discussing CAs in the industry, especially when the discussion is about CFOs and CEOs. Again, my word is dream, which is because we are all dreaming to become the CEO, to occupy the corner office. I would like to change the track a little bit. The first D, and now you're a CFO, becoming a CEO, the first D means debt, DBT. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the 2 biggest problem of bankruptcies in any business across the world are 2. One, that you take more debt than what perhaps we can chew, and second is frauds. I will focus on debt for the time being for 30 seconds. If you look around, examples of big organizations, very successful organizations, going down the lane, going down the drain, and getting insolvency proceedings against them, you would figure out that they took more debt than what they can chew. We, the CFOs, I think now it's a duty for us to explain to the board and the powers that be that what is the tipping point of our debt. The first point, be careful on the debt, very important. The second word is R, because I still want to go to the acronym of DREAM. R is risk. Risk management. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no one else except the CFOs and the finance professionals who can explain to the CEO and to the board what the risks of an organization. It is us who has to explain that what the risks are. Essentially speaking, entrepreneurs are very, very optimistic. They want to go whole hog. They want to take more money from the market for wherever they can get it and keep growing. But what about the risks? Let me give you an example, a quick one. Just think about the great organization which India had, ILFS. Now, why ILFS has gone wherever they are, gone bust? Because they did not do the risk management. They borrowed short and lent long. They gave loans which were long. So obviously, there are a mismatch in cash. And in fact, the risk management team, the risk management committee of the board never met for 2 years, and that's now public knowledge. So please, ladies and gentlemen, risk is very important. E is very simple, ethics. As I told you, the 2 greatest problem why the companies go bankrupt is debt, more debt, and E, that means a fraud, ethics. Of course, there is another reason they can say economic conditions, but I don't believe that if you have not taken enough debt, and if there is ethics, even if there are poor economic conditions, to my mind, I don't think a company can go belly up. But that's another matter altogether. Ethics, ladies and gentlemen, we the chartered accountants, we the CFOs, we the finance professionals are the harbinger of ethics. It is the governance which we need to guide the board. Most importantly, if you look at all the companies which have crossed 100 years of their life, you will figure out that they have been very, very ethical. Of course, there will be some here and there mistakes which everyone does, but broadly speaking, their governance would have been above board. The fourth word, again, dream A. A is acquisition. If you are a CFO, you are a finance professional, one thing which you will be responsible for is to do M&As. Ladies and gentlemen, you are aware that mergers and acquisition is a very common dream of entrepreneurs to achieve. But 70% of M&As, mergers and acquisitions, don't work. 70% don't work. And if we can be part of that 30%, success is inevitable. So be careful, try to understand that acquisition is not easy. There are loads of loopholes and pitfalls, and there are loads of mistakes which we do, and that's what we need to focus on. The last one is M. M perhaps is very natural, is manpower, HR. We, the CAs, we the finance professionals, we the CFOs sometimes believe that we need to focus on accounting, we need to focus on balance sheet, quality, profit and loss account, and HR manpower will be looked at by somebody else. That's not true. Every manager in an industry is an HR professional. Whatever he or she does, be it a sales manager, production manager, technical manager, IT manager, he or she is an HR manager first. And therefore, do not forget manpower. You as a CFO need to guide the CEO as to who should be recruited, what should be the HR policy, how should you promote people, how should enthuse people. So again, just to summarize once again, from CFO to CEO, again the same word dream, because that's what we are dreaming on. Debt, D. R is risk management. E is ethics, be careful on that. A is acquisition, which is M&A, 70% doesn't work. And M is manpower. And unless we look after manpower, we will not be able to establish our dream. So in short, ladies and gentlemen, I did talk about dream to fulfill the success, and I divided into two parts. The soft part of dream, which perhaps the financial professionals must have to become a successful CFO, and the hard part, the hardware, which the CFOs need to have for being a successful CEO. At the end of the day, I personally believe that one word which summarizes all this, if you have it, success has to come, and that's called positive attitude. If you and me, each one of us around this table, around this webinar, have an attitude to do something good, and if you display a positive attitude, you will fulfill your dream, be it from the softer aspects or from the harder aspect. It is the attitude which will make us stand apart. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I wanted to share. Thank you so much for hearing me.
Thank you, Banerjee sir. Now I will introduce our next speaker, Harpreet Singh ji. Harpreet Singh sir is the Chief Executive Officer of Child Health Imprints, Singapore parent entity of INCU Korea and CHI India. He is a technical strategist having international consulting experience across Europe, US and Asia. His experience span across diverse industries, enterprise software and services, management consultancy, research and development, and skill sets, the product management, value engineering, business aids, sales strategy, analytics, system engineering and strategy consulting. He is having collective experience of 18 plus years in software product development and management. He has published several scientific articles and sold medical software products of ICAI, that is subsidiary of Philips, and Sun Pharma. Harpreet Singh ji received his PhD in science and completed his master's in biomedical engineering. He also holds bachelor's in engineering from Birla Institute of Technology. I welcome Harpreet Singh ji on behalf of Pune ICAI. I request, sir, kindly take the charge of session. Over to you, Harpreet Singh ji. I think some technical problem at the end of Harpreet Singh sir. Meanwhile, if can we Pramod sir, Pramod Gorpade sir, we'd like to take your session minute between.
Yes.
Thank you,
Surely.
Gorpade sir. I will introduce Gorpade
Sure.
sir. His county CFO and board member of Teva India. He's chartered accountant and taken special management training from IIM Ahmedabad. The finance professional with over 23 years of experience across industries and sectors, geographies in organization, namely Teva Pharmaceuticals, Allergan Lupin, Pidilite Industries, Ion Exchange and Jindal British Steel. Currently he is responsible for finance function for Teva India, contributing is developing strategies, global reporting, corporate governance, taxation, treasury and risk assessment, internal controls, and worldwide integration. He has worked on various system implementation in India and abroad. He is involved in various social initiatives in the areas of education for the underprivileged and healthcare sectors. He loves sports such as cricket, volleyball and badminton. Welcome sir on behalf of Pune ICAI. Please take the charge of session. Over to you, Pramod ji.
Thank you so much. I hope I am audible.
Yes sir. You are
Thank you so
audible.
much. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. All dignitaries on the dais, CFOs, CEOs, members who are attending this program. Very good evening to all of you. Members who are attending through virtual mode also, large number of participants. Really happy to hear that. It's my honor and privilege to be here with you this evening, gentlemen. Very quick introduction and very brief about my organization. I am CA Pramod Gorpade, country CFO and board member of Teva India. Teva India is a subsidiary of Teva Pharmaceuticals Limited, a leading global pharmaceutical company that delivers very high quality, patient-centric healthcare solutions to approximately 200 million patients in 100 plus countries every day. Teva Pharmaceutical is a globally listed on New York Stock Exchange. We have a global turnover in excess of about $18 billion. I'm a part of Teva India management team. Teva India is having large-scale manufacturing capacity and R&D focus, serving Teva globally in overall supply chain. We have 3 API manufacturing sites, 2 formulation manufacturing sites, 3 R&D centers, global stability lab. We also have multiple shared service functions, particularly in finance, IT, engineering, regulatory affairs. We have close to about 3,500 employees in India. So that is our presence in India in terms of overall manufacturing capacity and R&D. We have about 750 plus employees working in various R&D centers in India. It's about a pharma industry talk. So I will split my overall thoughts in 4 or 5 areas, particularly about a global market, Indian pharmaceutical market, India's role in global pharmaceutical market, dynamics of this industry, challenges in brief, role of CFOs in pharma industry particularly, and scope and opportunities of chartered accountants particularly in pharma industry. So globally, if you see overall pharma market in the range of about $1.25 to $1.3 trillion, growing at about 4 to 5% annually. If you see the world dynamics, global pharma market, which is primarily dominated by Western and European countries, if you see currently the market is slowing down in those countries, while the emerging markets like India, China, Brazil, Russia is nowadays spearheading the growth in global pharma industry. Very important to know that India is also one of the fast growing market in particularly in pharma. In terms of various global pressures which pharma industry is facing nowadays, as one of our, we have a global presence, so we witness that every day. One is about very high R&D cost, relatively dry pipelines for the new drugs, increasing pressure on, reducing healthcare cost in various markets, including US, Europe, various, global tender businesses, which again, have a pressure on the pricing. Global pharma companies, with all the challenges, they are looking for new ways to boost overall drug discovery, overall potential new products, reduce the timeline to go to market, increase cost, along with, having quality drugs. So this is where, India has got huge opportunity to support world with affordable and cost-effective medicines and assured supply to global. As we are talking, we know we are talking about, nowadays vaccination and all that, and we all know that, India dominates the vaccination market and 50% and more supplies in vaccination is from India. Pharma domestic market, if you see, approximately about $21 to $22 billion. India's market is unique. As we all know, we have high pricing pressure in India. Various, branded generic market dominates close to about 70 to 80% of our retail market. Local players are dominant player. They are driven by, formulation strategy, formulation development capabilities. Their cost structure is lenient. Price levels are low, and therefore there is intense competition in various players. India, if you see the overall, in terms of value, is about a 10th in global market, while in terms of volume, India ranked as a third, medicine consumer. India's population is growing, we all know its economy is growing, creating large middle class, which can afford, Western medicines or quality medicines, I would say. India's profile is changing. Demand is likely to increase for drugs, which are particularly, cardiovascular or, disorders in central nervous systems or other, chronic diseases. That is how the profile is changing, in particularly in case of pharma market. India's healthcare spend is, I all know, it's about 1% of our economy, while, US spends about 11%, China spends about 3%, and the size of economy, we all know. We are talking about, 10 times of our size. So there is huge opportunity. India is going to spend or increase this overall spend on the healthcare sector. And this gives, good idea about opportunities in this particular industry. We have about close to about 10,000 plus companies operating in India in pharma sector, employing close to about 600,000 plus people. If you talk about India's share in global pharma, we all should be proud of, our contribution to the global market in terms of supplying quality medicine at affordable price. Indian pharmaceutical industry supplies over 50% of global demand for vaccine, as I said, 40% of generic demand in the US, and 25% of, all medicines which are supplied to UK comes from India. One in every 3 medicine sold in US is supplied by Indian pharma company. 5 out of top 15 world's generic companies are from India. India is second largest US FDA manufacturing sites only after US. India enjoys advantage of lower production cost, good quality supplies, quality manpower. Those are advantages what we have for Indian market globally. If you see the cost structure, probably India would be about 1/3 or 1/2 of Europe in terms of overall cost structure for the pharma industry. New patent regime is introduced by Indian government, which protects the IP rights. Of course, there are certain issues which we need to address, but we are going to have better protection on IPs, which will boost further industry as such. Various clinical trials or R&D activities are increasing. India is very cost-effective model for clinical trials, particularly a lot of traction there happening in that particular area. Indian companies now have unprecedented opportunities, I would say, partnering with global players, working out with the contract manufacturing idea, joint ventures, in licensing arrangements. So huge opportunities for Indian companies to work with global players in various areas. The current pandemic, if you see, as an industry, and as we all know, we discuss about, impact of pandemic on various businesses, economic activities throughout the world, which we have not seen for many years in the past. Pharma industry being a part of essential services had, to operate during this, lockdown also with a lot of challenges. It was a testing time for pharma industry. On one side, we had to operate, we had to produce, we have to distribute medicine. The other side, various services were stopped because of shutdowns and lockdowns. Still, pharma industry, I would say, did very well in ensuring a continuous supply of medicines to Indian market and globally. Major challenge during this period was, short supplies of raw materials, logistics, bulk material supply, KSM, key starting material supplies, advanced intermediate supplies. Those were, major challenges faced by industry. And this exposed our dependency on other countries, particularly China, I would say, in terms of dependency on bulk drugs and APIs and intermediates. Over 60% of our APIs is from other countries. This is one area where, a government has proactively started working on this. Particularly China, supply or our dependency on China. China has got their own, inherent strength in terms of, technologies, infrastructural facilities, and they leverage that, to gain higher market and provide a cost-effective solution. So India is working on that. Government of India, regulators had really, realized this big concern and started working very swiftly to resolve this issue. Government recently came out, government has appointed high-level, committee or task force to address such issues. Recently, central government has announced a PLI scheme, production links incentive scheme, particularly to manufacture specific drugs which are, life-saving or where, we have dependency on other countries. So government has given a huge amount of incentive to, start manufacturing those specific products in India. Government has also announced various schemes, particularly on the promotion of bulk drug parks, where, the government is going to provide facilities, common facilities for solvent recovery or for the distillation and the power and steam and effluent treatment plants. Those things will be a common, which are very, cost, I would say, a good contributor for the cost, which are going to be supplied or provided as a common facility to the industry. That will help us tremendously. So, looking at the overall market, global market, India market, India's, strength in terms of supplying medicine globally, we have huge, opportunities in pharma industry as such. Of course, there are various challenges in front of us, in front of industry, such as, frequent changes in regulatory requirements, too much of, compliance burden. Recently, Ms. Kiran Pujibna talked about, compliance and, its impact on the business and industry. That was talking point about few days back. We need to work on land and reforms, labor reforms, very quickly to address certain issues faced by industry and other industry also. Certain clearances like environment clearance, which takes, months and years to, start your production, start your operations. Litigation costs, particularly in Western countries, is another concern which we have in front of, pharma industry, particularly Indian pharma industry. With this background and understanding about, enormous opportunities in pharma industry, I'll move on, role of CFO, which is one of the topic which, a gentleman asked me to discuss. So, of course, CFO, as Mr. Banerjee explained about, CFO's role and, responsibilities and how one can be successful CFO and then further maybe, grow to CEO level. Role of CFO in any industry for that matter is very important, very crucial, and similarly in pharma industry also, CFO's role is very important, very crucial. Particularly in pharma, since pharma is a very regulated industry, where there are various challenges in front of CEOs and CFOs in terms of following that regulatory requirements. Recent past, if you see, major challenges are revisiting your business plans, and targets in ever-changing environment or in a dynamic world like this. If you see, many factors are changing, and the pace of change is very, very fast. So far in business, assumption goes on toss if you are not agile, if you are not fast enough to accept those changes, to work on those changes. Otherwise, your business assumption, your business plan goes on toss, and that affects your health of your organization, your balance sheet size, and as Mr. Banerjee explained about, debt and, other issues which can cripple. Second big question in front of CFOs is how do I keep my cost structure lenient, while, supporting business to achieve their target? That is, a big question in front of all of us. Decision about M&A, Mr. Banerjee talked about M&A. So very crucial role, CFO plays in decision about mergers and acquisition and divestment, those are very important, factors where, one need to mindful about, the implications and transparent with the management team in giving his or her opinion. Particularly in case of pharma, a big question is about investment in R&D, in new product pipeline, product development, marketing, or do I conserve cash for future? That is, big question again in front of, all senior finance professionals in this particular industry. And in such scenario, we need to, kind of solution, we need to give best solution to the, management. While working on cost reduction initiatives, cost structure, in pharma particularly, you need to ensure that quality is not compromised. That is again a big, question in front of operations and finance function. Providing a real-time data with insights, with analysis to the management is again, very important, crucial role for decision making in organization in front of CFOs and finance organization as such. There are some sector-specific requirement and reporting because of, price regulations and all that need to be complied in time for survival of your organization. Decision about, automation, technology, using IT platforms, using IT solutions is again, investment in such solution versus benefit. Again, it's a big question mark in front of, CFOs. Ensuring appropriate control in a digital world is again, a very important role which CFOs plays. As we need to be aware that, the risk cannot be eliminated as such 100%, but it can be managed, mitigated by proper planning. So these are, some very specific areas where, or specific question mark in front of various CFOs in pharma and of course in other industry also. In terms of the scope or opportunities, having understood the pharma industry or the huge scope, particularly in India, now we have question here, how CAs or chartered accountants, professional, finance professional can support this growth, can support this pharma industry particularly. So there are huge opportunities as we discussed. India is going to be a very bright spot as regards to pharma supply, pharma industry. A lot of MNCs are, investing heavily. A lot of Indian companies are also investing heavily in pharma sector. So that is, a gate opening for all of us, for, finance professionals. There is significant increase in R&D activities in India also. That is also, huge, opportunity. In terms of today's environment, if you see, one has to be agile, provide a differentiated, solutions. One has to have ability to work proactively and collaborate with a business partner. Then only, we can support such kind of, big growth in industry. MNCs are looking for, a great amount of investment. One can start looking at providing services at the right time at the beginning itself so that, a lot of services can be offered to CAs, particularly for foreign investments. Particularly our, chartered accountant and finance professional, their role in the accountancy, MIS, tax, treasury is given. Those are, I would say, traditional areas or traditional core areas. But in addition to that, CAs are expected to play a significant role in various areas where, business decision, there need to be a partnering with the business. Basically, they are expected to partner with the business to give solution. Cost management, cost optimization is another area where, one has to give, a solution to the organization. Make or buy decision, supply chain management, procurement function, operational excellence, the governance, risk and controls, compliances. Those are the areas, new areas, I would say, non-core areas where, CS can contribute immensely. I can see in our organization also CAs are playing a significant role in providing various solutions as I discussed above. CS can contribute heavily in IT solutions, bringing bringing efficiency in various processes. ERP implementations, digitization, automation project, where, CS have deeper knowledge, deeper understanding about, processes. They have practical knowledge about all these things. They can give a great amount of support in terms of, implementing automation and ICT solutions in organization. Using, RPA, robotic process automation, or bots, those kind of things which can cut your cost or bring efficiencies are in need of hour now. Where, CS can play, finance professionals can play a bigger role. Another interesting area which is, about risk management, forensic audit, fraud prevention, detection and responses, those are the areas which are coming up, where, we feel that, we need expertise. We are short of expertise in finance professional to address this particular area where, ICAI can definitely work on certain, areas to develop some expertise, skill sets in new areas which is coming up. Finance shared service function, I would like to give our example. Basically, we started this journey of bringing, finance shared services in India. So particularly about AP and AR function, 3 years back we started the journey, and currently we are supporting 25 different markets globally. Different languages, different time zones, those are managed by our team sitting in India. And we have got a significant amount of cost efficiency. We have reduced the cost for the global organization in bringing in efficient finance shared service functions. So a lot of companies, if you see multinational companies, Indian companies are looking at, consolidating, shared service functions in various areas. So on one hand, we have a requirement of, chartered accountants, finance professionals in various non-traditional areas, as I explained. There is, skill sets of, shortage of skill set which is required among, finance professionals. Young and recently passed out CAs lack certain skill sets, which definitely we all, as a part of industry, we should ensure and impart that training, that skill sets. The soft skills, communication skills, presentation skills need to be, imparted very well to the young chartered accountants so that, they become employable in industry or MNCs. Working remotely nowadays is becoming, a new normal and very challenging in terms of, how do you ensure that, employees are engaged, employees are motivated. And, that is another challenge in front of all of us where, we need to have that skill set to how to manage your manpower. As Mr. Banerjee explained, you require that skill sets also to ensure that, you use your manpower appropriately, resources are used appropriately and efficiently. So I'm very confident, CA fraternity can respond very positively, I would say. Various programs, initiatives by ICAI, such like this one, timely changes in syllabus, quality study material and training will certainly bring in required changes or required skill sets among CA fraternity. With multiple skills, finance expertise, quick decision-making ability, I would say CAs can contribute immensely in overall economic development of our country. And we can proudly say that, CS can be a true partner in nation building. So thank you very much. I would like to thank ICAI for Pune branch particularly for giving me this opportunity to share a few thoughts, particularly about finance industry and opportunities for CS in industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pramod sir. Nihar Jambusaria, Vice President sir, has joined he has completed earlier meeting and now joined to us here physically. Thank you, sir. I welcome on behalf of Pune branch here. It's my great pleasure to introduce Nihar Jambusaria sir to all of you. Nihar bhai has been elected as Vice President of the ICAI for year 2020-21. Currently associated in industry. He chartered accountant from 1984 and was in practice for nearly 27 years. He is now as a Vice Chairman of standing committees including Executive Finance and Examination Committees, besides being the ex officio member of all non-standing committee and joint editor of ICAI Journal. He is appointed as a member of IFSC Professional Accountants in Business Committee for 3 years starting in January 2021. He has been nominated as ICAI representative as a member for Committee on Corporate Governance Guidelines for Insurance of IRDA in India. He has also been nominated on the review committee for BCom Honors and BCom Commerce new syllabus for all the universities in country by the University Grand Commission, that is UGC. He has been chairman of WRC of ICAI in 2004 and 5. He has represented ICAI in many important committees constituted by the government of ministries and regulators. He has been nominated as a member of the e-commerce committee formed by the Ministry of Finance and peer review committee of the Central Board of Direct Tax. He has been public speaker at national and international forum. He has been attended and contributed to numerous national and international seminars. More than 900 seminars, conferences so far he has addressed. Welcome Nihar Bhai again on behalf of Pune ICAI. I request our Central Council member CV Chite sir and Abhishek Dhamne, our chairman, please felicitate Nihar Bhai. Thank you, Chite sir, Abhishek sir, and Rajesh sir. I request Nihar Bhai to please share your wisdom of knowledge. All are waiting to hear you, sir.
Good evening, friends. Chairman CMIB, T.A. Rajesh Sharma, in absentia Hansraj Chugji, Vice Chairman CMIB, my colleague T.A. Shekhar Chitleji, the Chairman and Vice Chairman of the branch, Pune branch, and all the CFOs and members in industry who are present here and who are on virtual mode. I think we are meeting at a time when number of opportunities in industry or in business are opening up, and I have the experience of working in practice for almost 27 years and then shifting to industry. I have seen both the sides of our profession, and I feel that addressing members in industry is a special occasion. Today, Rajesh ji would have given number that particularly fresh qualified chartered accountants, what percentage goes to service, including industry? I think majority of them, 70%. So there is huge scope after COVID, and particularly we have spoken about COVID a number of times, but you look at reality. In last 8 to 9 months, in what way COVID has affected us, that is sad part of it. But at the same time, it has created challenges which would give opportunity to our members. Particularly, the most satisfying part of our profession is that if you take example of a doctor, doctor would prosper if the patient falls sick, but a CA would prosper if the client prospers and the country prospers. And our role as an advisor in industry would certainly fetch very rich results to the business. Business would grow and the entrepreneurs would be happy. Now, one point which I was trying to drive at, whether it is a members meet, that is members in practice meet or members in industry meet, that in 70 years particularly, we chartered accountants have not valued our services ourselves. And as a result, clients have not delivered equivalent value for the services. Although we are not money-minded, but after all, for any profession to prosper, I think what we charge and what we are compensated is very important. That only brings value to the services that we render. Now at the institute side, what steps we have taken to connect with the industry members, to facilitate industry members. Time and again during all past 8 years, whenever I used to attend campus and the companies used to come there for placement of chartered accountants in their company, they used to always complain about quality. And institute has over a period taken number of steps. Particularly if you look at the syllabus was revised. It was put at par with what is required in the business and industry. You look at training, we are giving enough focus to training. Particularly, many companies used to complain about industrial training, which was confined to 9 months to 12 months. And particularly when a student joined, for whom only 9 months were left, the particular grievance of industry was that in the last 6 months, about 3 to 4 months, the student would be on leave. And they are with the industry only for 5 to 6 months. So what kind of training they can impart? So the institute has now passed a resolution and increased the minimum period to same 9 months, but the maximum period to 18 months. After 1.5 years, a student can opt for industrial training. So you can mold the student the way the industry would like to have him. And if he is trained that way, then probably with theoretical knowledge and the blend of practical training that you give, the student would certainly deliver after he or she qualifies as chartered accountant. So the committee has put in place the industrial training portal also, where the companies can register and the article students can register. So on this platform, enough opportunities given to take industrial trainees. Then for the senior members, Rajesh ji must have spoken about career ascent program. So you can take benefit of that. I would speak about the other initiatives which institute has taken, like the research activity has been encouraged in this year, and we will further like to encourage it in a way that industry members really contribute to the research initiatives. In our profession, research initiatives had taken a back seat, and we have never given importance to research. And research is to the core of the profession. Today, if you see, after COVID, the scenario that has emerged and the way the last speaker was speaking, that the industry and business owners would expect chartered accountants to partner with them. Although we can't partner in profit, what he mentioned was we are required to partner in decision making. And if that happens, like MBA, who are valued somewhat differently, chartered accountants' value will also be equivalent or even more, because our theoretical base is so strong as compared to the MBAs and other professions that we can have an edge over them. If you look at institutes' programs which are designed, particularly you can look at DAB, that is Digital Accounting and Assurance Board. It's programs on technology. Now all big companies have the budget and have the training capabilities for their employees and team members. On technology, they provide enough and they put their members at par with what is current. But at the institute's level, we have also taken enough initiatives. If your company is not so big and you are not able to afford that exhaustive training, then look at the certificate courses in the area of technology. You can train your members on technology like robotic processes, its practical use, data analytics. Every industry is facing big data and they have to deal with that data, analyze them and give the result or give the solution. This is not manually possible. And time and again these questions have arisen that whenever technology takes a next leap, the members are worried about their existence and survival. But after computers were introduced in 86, we all have prospered. In the same manner, now that all these high-level processes are coming in, whether we will be rendered unemployed because our routine job of compliances will not be required. There is a study of World Economic Forum that whenever technology has taken the next leap, the number of new jobs that are created are more than the number of jobs that go away. So sunrise jobs are so many, and if we are prepared to keep an open mind and train ourselves in those sunrise areas, I think there is no end to our prosperity, along with the client, economy and the country. So another cause of concern for the entire world is sustainability. I don't know how many of you are in a company which is required to mandatorily or rather recommendatorily report on sustainability. Integrated reporting will become mandatory very soon. And at present, SEBI has recommended those top 1,000 companies to report on integral reporting. But only 68 companies have so far reported last year. But it is going to be mandatory. Again, chartered accountants' role in sustainability reporting will open up new area when it becomes mandatory. Not only for members who are already there as CFO or in whatever post, but even for those who are in practice, because they will have to certify the sustainability reporting. Even Prime Minister has started talking about triple bottom line. We were looking at profit or loss so far. Our bottom line was either profit or loss. Now, apart from other countries of the world, even our government is harping and insisting that industries should have triple bottom line reporting. That is profit, planet and people. If that is the case, the non-financial reporting will be huge and our scope will increase to a large extent. Integral reporting is not simple and members are again required to train themselves. This year, the President ICAI set up SRSB, Sustainability Reporting Standards Board. And the chairman is working hard to spread awareness about sustainability reporting. I'm sure as members in industry, all of you are concerned about learning integrated reporting and sustainability. Even World Bank in one of the forum has said that when there will be challenge to the earth in terms of environment and many other problems, only accountants will save the world. Let us grab this opportunity whenever this reporting becomes mandatory. With SEBI and government, the institute is engaged to focus on this reporting and insist upon the government that only CS should be made responsible to report it and CS in industry will have to prepare that report. So this is one more area. To encourage members, Rajesh ji and Chuk ji must have talked about the awards that every year the committee gives. And this is one more encouragement. And today I am told there are 1200 members attending on virtual mode. And it is my appeal to members that please apply for this reward. That is award. That is, you please nominate yourself and give details about yourself. This facilitates institute to analyze how and where members are engaged. And we can make use of your knowledge. At the same time, we can deliver what you require. So please apply or please nominate yourself and make this award function very successful. We are trying to spread awareness. Now, I was thinking that I will speak about some of the initiatives of the institute. There are many other things to talk about, but this is supposed to be an interactive session. So if you have anything that you expect from institute, or if you want us to do something for members in business and industry, then please tell us. The institute is always open, and we would like to see that members in industry are as much connected with the institute as the practicing members are connected. So whether it is for students who come to you, you want institute to do something more than what we are doing. Of course, on a continuous basis, we review what we need to do for students. So, or even for your jobs or anything that you may expect. Anything you want to ask or raise, or you have in mind which institute can do for you. So I think these were some of the areas which I thought I will touch upon, but still, if you want to raise anything, anytime you can tell. We can have interactive session even afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nihar sir. I think now Harpreet Singh sir is joined. I think there was earlier technical problem. Harpreet Singh sir, am I audible to you?
One last point which Rajesh ji reminds me, that even for retired persons from industry, after 60 when you retire, and you know in today's scenario, the life expectancy is more than 80. At 60, every retiring person is very healthy and can work further. So for them, the committee has created a portal where you can register. There are many companies who employ retired persons on professional basis or on retainership basis. So you can even access that part of the portal, and those who are on the verge of retirement, if you want to search for an opportunity, this portal will be good for you.
Thank you, sir. I think till the technical problem from Harpreet Singh sir is not issued, solved. Meanwhile, we have with us Suhas Kardaskar sir, who is physically present here with us, ex-Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Human Resources, Mercedes-Benz India Private Limited. Welcome, sir, on behalf of Pune ICAI. He holds bachelor degree with physics as a principal of the Ferguson College, Pune. He has chartered accountant. He joined Mercedes-Benz of India in 1995. He was one of the pioneer members of the management team of the company. Apart from the usual functions of accounting, finance, banking, treasury, he was also responsible for various functions like import, exports, government license, dealing with chambers, association, etc. In 1990, he was inducted as a member of Board of Management. Since then, he has handled various portfolios like finance, accounting, including treasury, direct and indirect taxation, legal and company secretarial matters, government relations, external affairs and public policy, press, media, etc. Before this assignment, he was working with Tata Motors for 10 years in the field of indirect taxation. I request our Murtuza Kachwala sir to felicitate to us, sir. Thank you, Murtuza sir. I request Suhas sir, please take the charge of your session.
Good evening, friends. Dignitaries on the dais and those who are present in the audience, as well as those who are virtually present, maybe thousands of members who are logged in already. When I walked through the lobby of this hotel for this program, I was wondering and I realized one thing that, 37 years back, I couldn't imagine that I will be speaking in a function organized by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, on the dais of this particular institute. Though 37 years back, I did my chartered accountancy course, and my teacher, my idol, Mr. Dhaure sir is here, and thank you, Mr. Dhaure, for all you have done for the students from this area, as well as all the professionals. You are still working for them. Thank you for that. Okay, I am asked to speak about automobile industry. Actually, that too from the CEO and CFO perspective. So I'm not going to technical details, of course. So what I will do is structure my presentation in 3 or 4 parts. Basically, some sort of history of industry in India, the present structure, the growth drivers of the industry, the challenges what we face, and particularly the challenges what we face post-COVID. This subject is close to my heart because more than 33 years I worked in auto industry, so I developed some sort of affinity towards this industry. I started my career with Tata Motors, and I was responsible for indirect taxation. When I said indirect taxation means, I don't know whether I think some of the dais members must be remembering that before GST we had a VAT, and before VAT we had a mod VAT, modified VAT. That was the first step towards GST. And mod VAT was a big revolution in Indian tax system from that time, in the particularly excise duty. And that was a challenge before big company like Tata Motors, because we need to really claim a lot of money from the government. So I was asked to make a system for that. So that was my first into the IT system as well. So that gave me a great opportunity to know the industry from details, because I needed to understand the processes and system, the way in which the industry works, and that really helped me to develop my career further. After 10 years, I became a part of the most iconic brand of the automotive industry in the world, Mercedes-Benz. I was a founder member. I was the first employee of this company. In fact, I was deputed as a first employee by Tata Motors, who were the partners then. And I was fortunate to work in different functions. And that could be one of my advice to the young chartered accountants, that don't restrict your working job only for accounting and finance. Try to, expand your knowledge, try to get the knowledge and get a job outside accounting and finance. And that really makes your career. So I was responsible for import-export. I was responsible for international trade, international affairs, finance accounting. Of course, as a part of CA, my job was there. But more than that, I was responsible for government affairs. And only chartered accountants can really work in government affairs. This is my feeling after my experience. And that's when, if you see the ministers, Suresh Prabhu, Piyush Goyal, why they're successful? Because they have basic knowledge of accounting, how the policies of the government can really affect the country's economy. And from that perspective, I think my advice to all of you will be, try to expand your areas of work in your company, wherever you are working, and particularly for the CFOs. Because finally, as a CFO, you need to partner CEO. I have seen this industry from inside, and that too from the time when industry are totally protected. That is pre-1991 era. Industry was so protected that you will not believe that if you were to produce some more cars or some more trucks, you need a license for that. And unless you get a license, you could not even start the production. And if you do that, then the criminal prosecution was there. So this you might feel this weird now, but that was the situation that time, and that was the reality. That was our auto industry in India pre-1991. But in 1991, we joined WTO. That was a great step. And after WTO, we had to open the market. We had to open the entry to all the foreign national brands to India. And since then, I think government has realized that only liberalization can really work in the benefit of auto industry. And thanks to government policies, I think we have really come a long way. And since then, if you see, after opening up the market, all the foreign brands, they realized that this country can really generate a huge potential for the businesses. And then we started seeing influx of all the foreign brands into Indian auto industry. Name it, all players were already there in the country. Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Hyundai, Honda, all were there. And in the meanwhile, even the Indian players like Tata's, Mahindras and Maruti Suzuki, Maruti Suzuki was the Indian player. Now it is complete foreign national. That time they also started increasing their footprint. And what was the impact? Impact was very clear. Impact was very clear that India became a most sought for automobile market in the world. Because government opened the automotive market for the foreign nationals with 100% FDI. When I say FDI means they can really invest the money without any approval requirement. And that was a great step Indian government took. And with this, I think we can see what is today the situation is mainly because of liberalized policy of Indian government. See, when I see most sought for automotive market, what do you mean by that? If you really see, in the last 28 to 30 years, India has become a third or rather fourth largest auto industry in the world. And if everything goes well, by 2021, India is going to become the third largest auto industry in the world, only after China and US. Today China is number 1 and US is number 2 and India will be number 3 if everything goes well by 2021. And that's a really remarkable achievement, I would say. We are already the largest truck manufacturers in the world. We are already second largest bus manufacturer in the world. And as far as two-wheelers are concerned, we are the world factory of two-wheelers. So we are the largest manufacturers of two-wheelers of the world. So that's the importance this particular industry has generated for this country. It's not about only quantity, it's also about quality. Because of the healthy competition which foreign brands brought into the country, all the cars, all the vehicles, all the two-wheelers which are produced in this country, now they really are up to the international standards of quality, of comfort and safety. And thanks to the push from the government for the strictest emission norms as per the European standards, even all the cars, all the trucks, all the two-wheelers, I think they are up to the mark as far as emission standards are concerned. I think that's a great achievement the Indian auto industry has done. Again, thanks to government for that focus policy. If you see the share of automotive industry in India's economy, it accounts for almost 7% of GDP. I think 7% of a GDP from one particular industry is quite a lot. That's the size of this country. And because of the size of this industry, and because of this size, naturally, this is a great employment generator. Already 35 million jobs are created in this industry, either directly or indirectly, and there are huge scope for further creation of employment in auto industry. Because there is one more reason that automotive industry has got a huge backward and forward linkages. When I say backward and forward linkages means there is a big, huge supply chain and logistic chain starting from the raw material suppliers to the auto dealership. And all this, in all these fields, a lot of jobs can be generated on already under process of generation. This, as far as automotive industry is concerned, the logistic chain is very peculiar because this dependence on the auto part manufacturers and auto services manufacturers is very high. And because of that, and again, once again, because of push from the government towards this industry, there is a very high degree of development in terms of automobile ancillary industry. automobile and ancillary industry in India is of world class, and they cater not only for the domestic production of Indian cars or Indian vehicles, but they also export the parts and components to the developed nations like United States and Europe. In fact, last year, if you see 2019-20 figure, the total exports of total exports of vehicles, including two-wheelers and buses and trucks and cars, we exported more than 4.77 million vehicles, and that accounts for almost 4.5 to 5% of India's export. So that's the importance of auto industry in India. In fact, post-COVID, there is a further chance for development of auto component industry, because you know that not only Indian manufacturers, but even all multinational manufacturers across the globe, they are in the process of tweaking their supply chains to reduce the over dependence of China. Because all the companies in the world, name it, including Mercedes-Benz, they are high dependence on China in terms of their sales, and more than the sales in terms of their supplies. Particularly their supplies in terms of cost and even good technology. I think, and that's a main challenge before automotive industry all over the world, that how to reduce the dependence on China, because everybody has seen what has happened in a COVID scenario, and that's a great chance for us as an industry, as a country. And I would say that will be silver lining in over the clouds what we are facing because of pandemic. I just explained you what is the status of auto industry now, but what are the growth drivers? Why it has happened? Why it has happened in just less than 30 years? Why industry has become third largest industry in the world? I think this is, after pharma, maybe this is the second example where we are really above the chart in terms of volumes. There are quite a few growth drivers which I can think of. Let's consider, for example, the market of cars, passenger cars. India is supposed to be the youngest country on the planet. Our average age of the country will be 25 by year 2025. By year 2025, our average age will be 25. And where there is a youth, there are aspirations. And where there is aspiration, there is auto industry. Because people will like to drive the cars, people like to drive two-wheelers, they will like to take the new technology, they will like to embrace the new technology. And as far as the aspirations there, auto industry will always thrive. So I think that is one of the most important growth driver this country is having, and this will further we have. Our increase, with a steady increase in GDP, forget about what happened in last 10 months or 11 months. That's a separate scenario. It's an exceptional scenario. But in general, our GDP increasing very steadily for last 10 years. And with the increase in GDP, the household income has also grown almost 3 times in last 10 years. And this really provides impetus for industries, auto industry growth. The finance and banking industry, where we are playing very important role. I think Indian finance industry is one of the most matured one. And that, I think, that has been proven in 2008 meltdown, that our industry was not that affected as compared to some of the Southeast Asian countries. So I think finance and banking industry can really play a very important role, and they have played a very important role in the growth of auto industry. Because they really are the lenders. They provide a lot of innovative finance schemes for customers to go in for cars and vehicles. So they can really feel a very important role in that. But there is one caution, the interest rates. I think interest rates in India are still higher. Forget about again current interest rates because they are reduced for a particular reason. But in general, the interest rates for the consumer goods should be further reduced so that the industry can get further lift to increase. The next, I would say, growth driver will be manufacturing cost. The cost in auto industry, I think one of the speakers said that India has 50% cost advantage in the pharma industry. But as far as auto industry is concerned, I think India has got around 20% cost advantage, which is a lot, which is not small. So that also we should really take a benefit of. At the same time, I think we should be clear that India is not the only country where the cost advantage is there. And auto industry, particularly multinational companies, they really go with the final bottom line. So because they don't have any emotions on that. Everything goes with the financial figures. So some other countries, particularly Eastern European countries like Romania, they have even better cost structure than India. So we need to really watch our cost. Otherwise, we can lose the game. Next growth driver could be the availability of skilled labor. Our demography is actually asset for us. As I said, our average age is around 25 years. So a lot of people are available to work, including blue collar workers as well as white collar workers in different trades of the function. However, we are still, I can vouch that from my experience in the industry and what I saw the reaction coming from my parent companies and other parent companies as well, that we still really lack in the productivity. The productivity of Indian workers, including white and blue collar workers, are still not up to the mark. So there's a lot of things we can do to increase our productivity, particularly human productivity. Government had really given a lot of focus for this industry, and that's a real very good growth driver given to auto industry. In fact, I don't know whether you are aware that government has made one mission plan for the growth of auto industry, which is called as 2016-2026 National Auto Mission Plan. And that is, they would like to see 2016 as a hub, global hub of manufacture of small cars as India. So India will be deemed as global hub of small car manufacturing, and we can really do that because we have frugal manufacturing processes, we have cost advantage, we have internal local market. So with this, and we have export markets which can be further developed. So with this, India can be or will be, I'm quite clear in my mind, in next 5 to 6 years, India can be a global manufacturing hub for the small cars. And one more very important decision government has taken, that they would also like to see India as a global hub for the R&D in automotive, because R&D is most important. See what exactly is happening in IT industry. IT industry, I think we are doing very well, but still we still don't do much R&D in India. And whatever R&D we do, that is only for the parent company. And that exactly is happening in auto industry as well. So government wants to do really basic R&D in auto industry. And some of the big companies like Mercedes-Benz, for example, they have their R&D centers in Bangalore. So I think government wants to push that to make India also hub for the R&D. Recently announced, I think you would have seen this in the news, recently announced Atmanirbhar Yojana. I think that also provides a lot of benefit for the manufacturing, particularly the local manufacturing, and auto industry has been given almost more than 51,000 crores to increase their production, to increase their local production. So the time has come that industry should develop more and more local skills, local technology, so that our dependence on China can be reduced. Because today, if you see any car, any good car, more than 20% items, around close to 20% items are coming from China. This way or that, directly or indirectly. So that's a dependence, and government has really seized this opportunity of COVID to really work on that. And they're in constant touch of auto industry, and I think it will take some time, but I'm sure that going forward, India can be a really a good provider of R&D in India. The focused development of road infrastructure, I think this we have been seeing. Last 10 years, a lot of infrastructural development has taken place, particularly on the road side. And that also a lot of financial outlay, what we can see. And that will definitely help, or that has already helped development of auto industry in the country. Ever increasing middle class. I think middle class is the backbone of any economy. And that's India is a classic example of that. So ever increasing middle class, and that too coupled with rise in rural income. That can be a good, I think, good platform for auto industry to further grow into this country. Well, we just saw what auto industry has done so far, but the picture is not that rosy. There are also challenges. There are also challenges which we really all need to work upon. When I say we, in the sense, industry and the government. Because why this industry is important and why government and industry should really work on these challenges, because auto industry is one of such industry which is both technology and employment intensive. So it's not only technologically driven, but it's also labor driven. So from that perspective, this can generate a lot of jobs. So for a country like India, where 1.3 billion people are staying, this can be a perfect lever for the economic growth. And that is the reason I think government has really given a push for the automotive industry. This is one of the priority industry as far as their policies are concerned. So what are the challenges? Some of the challenges are, the one and first and foremost challenges is the trends in the Western world is going to sweep India, if not today, tomorrow. The trends are changing now. For example, the youth in United States and Germany and other European countries, they may not like to buy the cars now. They don't want the cars. They will rather prefer iPhone 4, iPhone 10, iPhone 12, iPhone 15 in the same, but they don't want the cars. They would like to use shared mobility. The shared mobility can be like Ola and Ubers or maybe leasing order, but they don't want to own the cars. So if that would happen, it has to be seen how far and how fast that spreads into India. And then auto industry need to really change the gears, and they need to change the entire different style of working. Probably auto industry companies will come into sharing. Like today Uber is doing, tomorrow Mercedes-Benz will be doing auto sharing, sharing of taxis. So who knows? And that is being considered seriously, and this is going to happen. And other industry has shown that, like Airbnb, they don't own a single hotel, but they are the biggest provider of accommodation in the world. The same thing is going to happen in auto industry. So that's a challenge I think we should work on. Second is artificial intelligence and digitalization in the factory. Factory 4.0 will come to India, and auto industry will be one of the first industry which is going to embrace that. So we all need to really work to get the skills for that and see the challenges. And here lies the role of CFOs, because all this will involve huge financial investment. And then decisions of financial investment, I think CFOs can really play the role by showing the whether buy or make or whatever, in IA as well as digitalization of the manufacturing processes. The heavy taxation. The heavy taxation is one of the challenge this industry is facing traditionally. Cars are facing 28% GST, many small cars, and big cars are facing 52% GST. And apart from cars, there's only one product which faces 52% tax, which is tobacco. So tobacco and cars are equalized as far as government policy are concerned. I think government really needs to work on that, because this can really unlock a lot of huge potential of volume generation if you really work on the taxes, because you can't have 52% GST on a car. And when we go for registration, again, we pay 20%. So if you see a showroom price of the car, more than 70% goes into taxes, either state taxes, local taxes, or GST. And if you really come to a reasonable level, then I'm sure that the volumes will explode. The next challenge, I think that's a world challenge, and India will also going to file us electric mobility. The whole world is moving towards electric mobility. China and European countries, they are far, far ahead on this. And they have done a lot of R&D work for that. India really needs to catch the speed. But I'm sure, again, government has really taken into that consideration, and they are working on the challenges. But there are challenges which are really huge. One of the challenges is the cost. The battery cost. The battery cost of electric vehicle accounts for more than 50%. And I think battery cost, if you have an electric car of a small car, which normal car is 5 lakhs, so electric car will be 15 lakhs because of just battery cost. Maybe 12, 13, I don't know. So India really has to work on the battery cost. But again, this is a chicken and egg story, because unless the costs have come down, you cannot increase the volume. And unless volumes are increased, costs cannot come down. All economy of scale. So I think government support is very much required in this, particularly in terms of taxation. Second huge challenge will be the charging infrastructure. How do you make the charging of the cars, of the trucks and buses? And in a country like India, where the huge geographic area is there, the charging infrastructure will be a challenge. But I think the government is working on that. And as for the policy, government would like to see significant portion of vehicles in this country by 2030 on electric mobility, which is a good target. I hope everything falls into place. But they have taken some steps, like they have announced a program called as FAME, F-A-M-E, Faster Adoption and Manufacturing of Electrical Vehicles, FAME. And under that scheme, they have identified 11 cities, I think Pune is one of that, where the public transport will be electrified in next 5 to 10 years, to the extent of 100%. I think these are cost as per the last year, in last 2 months, September, October, November, 3 months. And I'm sure with auto industry can really regain its popularity. But the things will change. The way in which auto industry works will change, like any other industry. The personalized transport will be more and more preferred. Because instead of going in public transport, people might take a preference towards personalized transport because of social distancing norms or some fear factor. And that will really help car industry as well as two-wheeler industry to grow. And this is already happening. The numbers are telling us that. Local sourcing. Auto industry will need to really going for more local sourcing so that to reduce the importance on international supply chain and particularly Chinese supply chain, and which I think I'm sure that industries are already working on that. Banks and auto industry, they need to really come out with a newer finance schemes and leasing schemes, because in the first 6 months of this year, banks did not lend for purchase of cars for the simple reason that they were fearing that loans might turn into bad loans. But now the things are changing, and banks really need to attract the customers with a different types of schemes. One of the very important thing which COVID has told us, and which was under discussion for last 10 years, but because of political compulsion, government could not do it. But now I think this government has really taken a bold step, which is contingent workers. And the role of contingent workers in the auto industry is extremely important. Contingent workers means fixed term employment workers. It could be in blue collar or it could be in white collar. But that really provides a flexibility to company on one part. At the same time, with the rules what the government has already announced, which is not yet become an act, but a proposed act, they can also socially protect in terms of benefits. So it's a win-win situation for both workers, the population as well as the factory. And there is no point in shying away from this contingent worker, which is already there in Western countries. And that's the only solution to have flexibility into work, at the same time employment generation. Now coming to what chartered accountants can do. I think for CAs and CFOs, I would say auto industry will be one of the great platform for their career. The reasons are very simple. Because auto industry, all the companies in India, either because of their joint ventures or their supply chains or anything else, they are all connected to the international world. And because of that, there's a huge importance of international governance, ethics, compliance, and the other areas where I think chartered accountants can really play a very important role. Second area can be because of their international relations, I think transfer pricing, international tax disputes, OECD tax guidelines. They are the areas where I think we all CS can really definitely work on that and partner the management for that. So I would really strongly urge chartered accountants to really see auto industry as their career, one of the career platform. And as I said earlier, don't restrict your field of work to only accounting and finance. Because accounting and finance finally is taken care by computers. And I think all the speakers, they just try to discuss about MBA versus CA, and there is some shortcoming. But I'm sure that what institutes have done, the shortcomings will be really bridged very soon. And I'm clear in my mind, maybe based on my experience or whatever, that we as a CA have much better knowledge of accounting and finance as compared to MBA. So what we lack, it's not communication is one part, but again communication is upper. But what we lack, and that everybody has to have problem solving skills. And that I think their MBA scores really more because of their curriculum or their course or whatever. Communication is important, but I don't say it's not the most important thing. This could be secondary. But first important thing is problem solving thing. So maybe in our curriculum, probably we can work on that. And I don't know, industrial training is one of the great initiative, but I don't know whether we can make it mandatory. If we make industrial training for all the CAs to qualify, industrial training is mandatory, because there cannot be any job, there can be any training better than actual job training. So industrial training, if we make it mandatory, and then we can work with the industrial organizations like FICCI and other CII, probably I think that is going to change, because the knowledge what CAs are going to get in industrial training or internship, that's the best of the quality of training, and no other training can really be as good as that. So in summary, I would say that I'm quite optimistic in my mind for auto industry in India, and of course the role of CFOs and CAs can play in the growth of this industry, and I'm sure that auto industry will be once again pinnacle of the growth of this auto industry. The 7% what GDP is there, I think as per the government target is supposed to be 10% of the GDP by 2026, and by 2026 the whole size of the industry will be $250 billion industry, and that is going to happen. So I think I could give justice to whatever time I was allotted, and I feel honored to have given my thoughts here. I thank the Pune branch of Chartered Accountants of India to who invited me for giving this speech. And but for this pandemic, I'm sure that this conference would have been in person. But I'm sure that with technology, thousands of people already joined, 1,200. I think that's a great number. So thank you very much, and wish you all the very happy New Year and a lot of good luck for the 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we are next to a speaker, Anil Patwardhan sir, CFO, KPIT Technologies Limited, Pune. He is qualified chartered accountant by profession, and he was the CFO at KPIT Technologies Limited. In this role as the CEO function, he was responsible for financial performance reporting and governance. Over the years, he has contributed towards improving the fiscal discipline within KPIT by establishing the global budgetary process, improving control environment, initiating tax planning measures, and driving effectiveness treasury and forex management. Under his leadership, KPIT has earned the coveted Golden Peacock Award given by the Institute of Directors UK and the Corporate Governance Award conferred by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India,
Recording
which
has
KPIT won
started.
4 years in a row. He has been recognized for his contribution for the corporate finance and
Recording
accounting
has
fraternity
stopped.
and has been awarded with the Best CFO Award 2010 in the information technology sector by the ICAI, New Delhi. He has also been conferred with the recognition of excellence of CFO India's second annual CFO 100 Roll of Honor 2012 for winning age in mergers and acquisitions. He received the Chairman's Award as well for Best Enabling Function of Company in 2008. He is also an active member and participant at various industries association. He was the president of the Hinjawadi Industries Association for 5 years, where he spearheaded several initiatives in infrastructure space for RGIP Hinjawadi. He is also in the past convener of the CI Finance and Tax Panel for 2 years. He has been the speaker on various industry and professional forums covering subject matters of his choice like corporate governance, mergers and acquisition. I request our past chairman of branch, Sri Jagdish Dongre sir, please felicitate Anil sir on behalf of Pune and ICAI. Jagdish sir. Thank you, Jagdish sir. I request Anil sir to take the charge of your session.
So, good evening, friends. Very happy to connect with all of you on this forum organized by Committee for Members in Industry and Business under the chairmanship of our CA Rajesh Sharmaji. And this is one of the very significant and important initiative of our institute. I have been associated with this while I was part of KPIT Technologies. It's a great connect. It really gives that sense of satisfaction that we are a part of this fraternity, our alma mater institute. And as you rightly mentioned, majority of the fresher chartered accountants are aspiring to be part of the industry compared with what we see in the practice. And we are seeing that percentage moving towards becoming part of industry. Not that we have more challenges in the industry and less challenges in practice. It is equally challenging at both the places. But I think industry is providing wide canvas today for the chartered accountants. I happened to be on the forum where all our fresher chartered accountants in one place, and what could be the expectations of the industry from all of you. And in that forum, I could realize that if they get little insight onto their career planning right at that moment, it is of tremendous help. See, the career path is in many directions, correct? So today, chartered accountants becoming part of accounting and finance function is almost given, correct? That is why we come into this career path. That is how we become qualified and then get into this path, and then progress is as industry is going, company is going, you also tend to grow. But that's not the end of it. Today, chartered accountants are being deployed across the globe by most of the multinational companies. They are being sent on deputation on various locations with a view that we should have a global view of our operations. And particularly when I was driving this as part of my company, we used to hire fresher chartered accountants every year, and we used to deploy them in various areas, including business. On the business side, if you have a better understanding how actual business is being run by the business leaders, they are able to add tremendous value. And one of the functions of finance office or CFO office is MIS budgeting and business analytics. And that is how we get connected with most of the business leaders, the geography leaders, the functional leaders across, and we are able to sort of add value by deploying chartered accountants in these various disciplines. I have also seen that if we are able to engage chartered accountants into HR domain, they add tremendous value. Back office of HR is very much, should I say, has to focus on the control environment and has to focus on the numbers. If these two objectives we have to achieve, I strongly believe that we have to deploy the chartered accountants in such functions as well. And I have seen large benefits of getting chartered accountants in across businesses, geographies, and the enabling functions. So, coming back to our industry, just now CS Suhas Kadlaskar spoke about auto industry. I happen to be a part of a company who is very sharply focused on automotive industry. And I know what kind of integration of IT into automobile is happening today is only ever increasing today. If you look at the cost of a passenger car today, the electronics which is going into a car was hardly 15% of the total cost of the car, which has gone up to 35% of the cost of the car today. And every electronics component requires IT software support, because the human interface is possible only through software. And the connectivity of the car and the infotainment platform of a car is all designed and, should I say, maintained for the end customer satisfaction by the IT industry. And that is how IT industry is working with most of the global OEMs in automotive, whether they are in passenger car industry, whether they are in commercial trucks, whether they are off-road vehicles. Everywhere you need IT software support, and that is what is today the focus, is what we call is reimagining the mobility. So today, every single IT software has to have an ability of getting onto a platform which can be upgraded remotely. The basic idea is that you need not come to the service station every time. you will be able to take care of your platform needs even remotely. And that kind of work is happening in automotive industry today. The majority of the R&D investments in IT industry are happening in engineering domain, and that is why it is well connected with the automotive industry today. If we look at the COVID-19 situation and its impact on the IT industry, I think one of the quick response post-COVID-19 has been given by the IT industry. The work from home, the way it has been initiated, because we faced the lockdown, say, beginning of March, 22nd, 23rd March, and most of the workforce has to remain at home. There was no other option available. And without IT infrastructure, you're not able to drive this concept of work from home. So what I know for sure, because I was part of this whole initiative, within 2 weeks, we have been able to deploy the infrastructure required for providing connectivity seamlessly to all the employees working from home, without compromising any IT security related challenges. And today, most of the tier 1 companies as well as tier 2 companies have released the guidelines for work from home. They have ensured that everybody has the proper Wi-Fi connectivity. Everybody has a kind of a workstation available at your home where you're comfortable, including the basic infrastructure which you need to work from your home office for long hours of 10 hours, 12 hours and like that. And therefore, and IT industry is the largest employer of the female employees. So I have seen direct benefits to all the female employees because the kind of flexibility they have while working from home, it has given more strength to the IT industry. Today, the kind of studies have been done, the productivity and the efficiency of the employees have actually gone up while working from home. First and foremost, the direct benefit is travel time and travel fatigue is completely has been put at halt, 0. The second part is for female employees, they have been able to take care of the home needs as well as the professional needs. And we have been able to really put the systems in place to ensure that there is no loss of productivity arising out of that. And now you will observe that most of the tier 1 companies have released the guidelines which says that more than 50% of the workforce will continue to work from home. And all our investment plans for creating more infrastructure have been put on hold. As a part of Hinjawadi Industries Association, when I was president, we were looking at this particular situation. Majority of the investments have been put on hold. Now, that has another effect on the economy. We'll talk about that separately. But from IT industry perspective, the capacity augmentation has been done just by going ahead with working from home policy on a large scale across the industry. Because you have been able to utilize the same infrastructure for next 3 years growth at least. If I estimate that broadly, at least 3 years, you don't need additional infrastructure to be created by this industry. IT industry is one of the largest contributor in our export revenues. Now, from economy perspective, what has happened is the guidelines for work from home, there is tremendous support from the government side also. Today, you might be aware that this consolidation of all labor laws, correct? We have consolidated almost 26 different labor laws into 3 or 4 labor acts. And that has given tremendous flexibility to all the sectors across the industry, not only IT sector, that work from home is an accepted feature of engaging the IT professionals or even non-IT professionals. If you look at the KPMG survey, which they have carried out right in the beginning of when this pandemic we faced in early February. After that, this survey was carried out again in August and the report was released sometime in September. Almost 315 CEOs participated into this survey. And to my surprise, the priorities set by all the CEOs in the beginning of 2020 and the priorities which have been set by the same set of CEOs in August, September, there is a tremendous shift. If I have to sort of give you a little overview on that, I would say the first priority given by the industry CEOs, technology industry CEOs I'm talking about, the survival has become the most important battle for everybody in the industry. So the first focus was that this IT industry has always been focusing on growth. Growth was always organic as well as inorganic growth. We talked about mergers and acquisitions, so I will deal with that a little later. But then, if growth is not happening, but you are able to hold on to your current business and able to focus on your customer satisfaction for all your current business, that is the strategy industry has worked for survival. And I'm very happy to note the findings of that survey that most of the customers have realigned their priorities, realigned their expectations from the service providers like tier 1 companies, tier 2 companies, that work from home is acceptable to the customers as well. Because customers have been, if you look at 5 years before, any large engagement with any of the global customer, the first prerequisite for that would be setting up a physical offshore development center, which is, there is a physical physical security and there is an IT security. So what it means is that ODC is dedicated for a customer and nobody else who is not engaged on the projects which are awarded by that customer can enter that premises even physically. IT security is always there, so nobody else can get into their systems, but even physical security was insisted. So I see a complete transformation through digital transformation initiatives that today customers have accepted this reality of resources working from home without compromising on IT security. So I'm saying this first sort of challenge which faced by IT industry, that how do we survive, because this is the industry which is highly dependent on customer relationship. You have to be in customer location, you have to be in customer premises even to negotiate any new business with them. Any projects reviews have to happen in customer location. Now you can imagine that complete restrictions on overseas travels. We are not able to sort of connect with any of these customers. How do we handle this situation? So digital transformation was the key initiative taken by the industry, I would say a little ahead of the time, almost more than 3 years, correct? So it was 2016-17. That is how the digital transformation initiatives were taken, which has come to our rescue in this pandemic situation. And therefore, all connects happening through digital means has been accepted. Working from home accepted. New business getting discussed through video conferencing accepted. The project planning and reviews through digital means accepted. So there was no disruption caused by COVID-19 pandemic after a span of, I would say, 6 to 8 months. First 6 months, there was a struggle because all these processes were not set and everybody was struggling. Because this is a global challenge, I think everybody related with that challenge, and then together we were trying to find out the solutions. And these solutions were accepted by customers as well as by the service providers. So the industry first response was on these lines, that how do we ensure that we sustain, we survive this through this phase. And now I see in the Q3 of financial year 21, we are back on track in terms of the growth. The only Q1, that is April to June, was the contraction of all the revenues, top line. We have seen across the industry, right from 5-6% to almost 14-15%. That is the range from tier 1 to tier 2 companies. And that is what is reflected in our GDP growth rate getting negative, almost 23% in the first quarter. But now we are saying, if you look at today, all the indexes between October and November, you will find that we have improved almost on 5 or 6 parameters. If I have to tell you those 6 parameters, which are very interesting. If you look at manufacturing PMI, that itself has gone up to almost 58.9% in the month of November compared with October. The electricity demand, it has gone up to by 11% in the month of October. Steel consumption has gone up by 11% again in the month of November. The services PMI, 54%, which is why I'm saying that this is going to reflect the growth in this quarter. The bank credit offtake has gone up by almost 6% in the month of November compared with October. The bank deposits have gone up by 10.8% in the month of November compared with October. The stamp duty collection of the government is up by 10.9%. So if we see these parameters, that gives us today confidence that we have faced the challenge of COVID-19, but I think we have also been able to address it at respective industry level, sector level, and every sector has responded in its own way to overcome the challenges faced by COVID-19 and looked at the opportunities and have leveraged those opportunities. That is what is getting reflected into these numbers. So when I look at this KPMG survey, we talk about survival test. I have also seen the scale change. Now what has happened is, typically in IT industry, tier 1 companies have always looked at quarter on quarter growth of almost lower single digit, that is 3 to 4%. What it means in the workforce, you are adding almost 6,000 people, 7,000 people every quarter. Now, the recruitment for 2 quarters has been under control. I would not say freeze, but 1 quarter it was on freeze, but now it is under control. So when we look at scale change, what has happened is that how do we deploy the talent available across the globe? Because now physical movement is not as simple as it was in 2019. And therefore, if I have some deficiency in skill sets in particular geography, particular region, particular location, how do I address that issue? So the talent acquisition, talent management has to happen in respective geographies because the cross-country movements are completely on hold. You're not allowed to travel. So I think industry has taken little time to address these issues, and till such time, most of the support was being made available through offshore teams. The skill deployment is possible if there is a training of the resources is happening on an ongoing basis. Now again, the digital transformation was so much accelerated during this phase that training of resources was absolutely necessary in order to overcome this travel restrictions problem. And therefore, major initiatives have been again taken on training needs of the resources across the geographies through digital platforms. So, digital transformation, which got accelerated during this phase, has helped the industry to overcome this particular challenge. And we have seen the benefits of that because it is a very focused training. You are able to sort of get the right resources together, irrespective of which geography they belong to, and impart those training on digital skills and ensure that they are actually deployed on projects in those respective geographies and customer is finally benefited. So complete transparency in this program has been given even to the customers, and we have been able to see the benefits of this. The third aspect which we see in that survey is priorities of investments. As I said, that physical infrastructure is no more relevant because it is available. Whereas the majority of the investments are happening in IT infrastructure and digital initiatives, digitalization initiatives of the companies. And those are across the geographies. So you need that kind of, should I say, your partners, business partners, who will be able to address those issues in respective geographies. So again, the need was that all your vendors also have to have a global presence, because the local vendor is not able to meet these requirements across the geographies. So that has created opportunities for those vendors as well and the IT sector as well. Another important initiative taken by all CEOs based on the survey which has been conducted is integration of IT into business. Now, all of you know that automation has been the initiative of every sector over last so many years. But then automation was happening at its own pace. Today, after pandemic, COVID-19, this has become a necessity, because unless IT is integrated into every business and in every single initiative of the company, we are not able to meet the customer expectations. Customer satisfaction is dependent upon how robust your IT platform is, how robust your IT infrastructure is, and how robust your IT security environment is. So majority of the investments got prioritized into IT segment, IT infrastructure segment. Creating trust was another challenge faced by the CEOs through this survey. That is what they indicated to all the stakeholders. Now, what I mean by trust here is employees getting sort of comfort that company is doing all-out efforts to sustain through this difficult environment and then drive the growth as soon as there is an opportunity. The shareholders, they know that every single rupee is being invested in the right manner to sustain through this difficult environment and then drive the growth. The infrastructure already created by the companies is utilized in its best possible or optimum way so that no more investments are required to be done in the creation of physical infrastructure. The most important stakeholder of all this, our customer. The customer is being taken care of without compromising in any of the quality deliverables and any of the data related, data protection has become the most sensitive area for customer, and how do we ensure that there is a complete data protection and IT security available? And how do we give that comfort to our customer, or rather, how do we demonstrate that comfort to our customers through project deliverables, project deliveries? So, the most important aspect of IT infrastructure has come on the forefront, and majority of the investment got prioritized there. Through this, we have been able to create the trust, and we have been able to get the confidence of all the stakeholders to drive the growth of the company. To adopt the organizational changes. Now, what has happened is this COVID-19 has thrown too many challenges together. Now, retaining senior level employees across the geographies. Very important, very sensitive. If you lose one senior resource in any of the geographies, during this phase, it will create tremendous impact, particularly on that geography. So how do you ensure that you're making your leaders comfortable and you know the roadmap which is shared with these leaders? So we are together on this journey and we are able to take care of their aspirations despite COVID-19 challenge. The second part of organization change is you have moved a lot of activities offshore. Because what has happened is the talent management, you have more flexibility on offshore employees compared with on-site employees. In on-site, when I say on-site, it is basically European region, the US region, and the APAC region. Everywhere, if you look at US, it is a corporate friendly labor laws. Whereas in Europe, it is employee friendly labor laws. If you want to take any decision about any employee, it is absolutely sensitive. And therefore, you have to ensure that the employees who have already come on board, you're actually making them more productive and more, effective from the customer standpoint. And so, organizational changes means changes of leadership happening across this organization without having any impact on such key resources. So those decisions were driven from offshore with, of course, I would use the word soft paddling, not very harsh, but those were necessary because ultimate objective is to make customer happy. And how do we ensure that customer is not impacted because of COVID-19 situation? That is the key challenge being faced by most of the technology CEOs. That is how they have come out with this survey. So I see industry perspective, if I have to summarize, I would say IT sector has responded very quickly to this COVID-19 situation. They have come out with policies and processes which will actually help address the interest of all stakeholders. They have been able to accelerate the digital transformation, which has helped to continue doing business with the same rigor and efficiency. They have been able to sustain during this critical phase, and now they're looking at driving the growth of the business. I see the M&A activity was little on low key during this phase because most of the boards were busy in responding to challenges posed by COVID-19. So naturally, inorganic growth was little bit at backseat, but I see that is getting momentum now because the value of those assets is absolutely attractive, and if we are able to drive the M&A during this phase, we'll be able to accelerate the growth of the companies on a very fast track. Most of the IT infrastructure got tested during this phase, and that has also helped all the stakeholders. So I would say COVID-19 certainly posed a difficult challenge for the industry. Particularly, you can imagine that on-site travel, on-site meetings, customer interactions, being at the customer location, all that there was a halt on this, full stop. And despite that, you have to create that comfort. It was a tremendous challenge, but I think industry has responded very positively. And I'm very happy being part of that industry because it's so dynamic that every day you really face some new challenge, and this approach towards innovation is applicable in every single area. Right from small improvement, your policies and processes also, in my view, it is an innovation. How do you control your cost? How do you manage your cost? Because the industry has used this opportunity. I must make this one statement here, is the redundancy in certain roles have also got identified in this process. Because see, when you are in the office environment, you are going for your work in the office, it is the management's responsibility to extract the work from you because physically you are making yourself available for certain time in the office. When it comes to working from home, you have to prove your value-added services to 5 other stakeholders. And that has to be your own initiative, not the management initiative. So it has completely changed the perspective of every single employee, the way they are looking at their own employment. And that is what has increased the productivity. If this is my personal view, I'm not sharing industry view on this, but this is what I have seen very closely with whom I have interacted. And naturally, now you're more careful about what is your role, what are your deliverables, and how you're going to take care of the satisfaction of the stakeholders for whom you're working. So you have to define it. And you have to make it visible to 5 others. So I think that change is driving the industry very on a very positive note. And I see now going forward, we'll see very good growth coming from this sector. The market has, this is not a session where we can discuss the market aspect, but capital market has already responded to the sector very positively. They are looking at value being created by tier 1 as well as tier 2 companies, and they are rewarding those companies in their own way. So thank you very much. I believe that I've been able to share my views and thoughts, particularly in this sector. And I have sort of brought in a different angle to it. I have not discussed statistics here, but I have discussed what kind of approach we need to sustain through these difficult times and then drive the growth. Thank you very much. And thanks once again, ICAI Pune branch, for giving me this opportunity to be with all of you. All 1100 plus who have joined virtually. Again, I'm very happy to connect with all of you. So any thoughts or any comments or any questions, if you share with the sort of management team, administration team here, I'll be able to send my responses for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anil sir. We have two speakers, Sunil Sandeep Batra sir and Harpreet Singh sir, who have joined virtually. We are running almost 45 to 50 minutes late. So I request Batra sir and Harpreet Singh sir, please share your views within 5 to 10 minutes. First, I would like to introduce Sandeep Batra sir. He is a chartered accountant and company secretary by qualification. He joined ICAI State after qualifying as a CA in 1988. He worked with ICAI for 21 years in this business and corporate roles, including running a few business of ICAI. In 2009, he moved to Pidilite Industries as their CFO with responsibility for finance, legal and secretary function for the group of companies in India and overseas. In 2015, he joined Crompton Greaves Consumer Electricals Limited as their CFO. I request Batra sir take the charge of session. Over to you, Batra sir.
Thank you very much. I'm mindful that I'm joining remotely. Just wanted to check if I am audible to everybody there.
You are audible, sir.
And thank you very much. So at the outset, thank you very much to the Pune branch for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. As you said, I will certainly, being mindful of the late evening time, try and keep it quite brief and short. And if it is possible, you could. I had made a small presentation just to put some words and some context to what I was to speak. So if it is possible for that presentation to be beamed.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Technical team, please look after for presentation.
Yeah, I can speak to it when it comes up, but yeah, let the presentation come. I will nonetheless share my thoughts. I had thought of talking about 4 issues today. The first one being as a representative of the manufacturing industry, and that's where I worked all 30 plus years. I have worked only in a manufacturing company, largely which have been FMCD oriented. So however, how have we seen manufacturing evolve, particularly what have been the focus areas in recent times? The second point, given that it's a finance community that one is talking to, what is the relevance of internal controls? How are they different in manufacturing and the role of the CFO there? And since it's a session organized by the community and by the institute, I thought I'll just quickly touch upon a few areas regarding reporting or compliance that one would certainly like, if one had a say, to be streamlined. And the last point would be on for the CA community, what kind of career opportunities in manufacturing could they look forward to? So manufacturing as an element is, the very critical component of every country's economic health, and whatever may be the size or the of manufacturing in every country's GDP, I think the aura and the importance is much bigger than what the real size may be. We know in India, manufacturing is significantly smaller than services. The share of manufacturing has been dwindling over the last few years. But even then, I think manufacturing as a sector is important from all assets, all aspects and facets, the kind of employment that it generates, the kind of self-dependence, the kind of self-reliance that it helps promote. And for India also, while if the first 5-year plan was all about the green revolution and becoming self-reliant on food. The second 5-year plan was the Industrial Revolution, where at least basic industries were set up in India. And over the years, that has certainly grown. However, we are all aware that in recent times, India has lost a fair amount of its competitiveness to neighboring countries, and that has now triggered a drive for the country and for the nation to become more self-reliant. And themes like Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat are all buzzwords that make the manufacturing sector very, very attractive from an investment and from an employability point of view. Quickly, if I look at an aspect which is very dear to every CFO and to the members of the finance community, is all about internal controls, how important they are and what's the role of the CFO in that. The manufacturing industry, whatever it could be a chemical plant, it could be automobile, it could be anything, is made up of many moving parts. It's a very complex value chain where the product form changes at all stages. So your raw material could be maybe steel, and what may come out at the end of the value chain could be a car, it could be a fan, something that we make, it could be a pump, again something that Crompton makes. And typically the manufacturing industry tends to be very transaction heavy, either in the form of multiple transactions taking place every day, or the sheer throughput being very heavy, as a result of which even a small error can get magnified and multiplied, and it can have very massive and serious consequences. So therefore, how does the CFO, or how do I as a CFO assure all our stakeholders, internal, external, boards, regulatory bodies, on the robustness and the reliability of the financial statements? And something which the previous speaker alluded to was all about technology. I remember the time when I started working, there were manual ledgers, and you had people who had skills in doing casting, in totaling. I remember audits, when I would go, we would get a red pen to do, whatever, casting, vouching, checking. And if I look at what we do today, nobody does accounting. Nobody does debit credit. Everybody in an ERP only posts one side of the transaction, and the ERP does the remaining. I remember I have spent sleepless nights trying to balance trial balances. It's unheard of in today's generation. So obviously technology is key. ERPs have made the basic work around accounting very, very easy. The digitalization initiatives that the previous speaker spoke about put information at your fingertips. As they say, a picture can say it better than 1,000 words. So data presented digitally, graphically is far, far more powerful than somebody having to go through trial balance. And now, of course, you have life easing processes like robotic process automation, machine learning, which kind of not only help improve the internal control environment, but also make productivity far easier for the CFO. But I think also it is important, and something that I learned pretty early in my career, that process is more important than the actual outcome. Don't chase the outcome, chase the process. So if your systems and processes are correct, results will be more repeatable, more reliable, more accurate. Also something that not everybody may be following it, but I certainly swear by that, is this whole virtuous cycle of plan, then execute, then review. Because that is the only way we will have a cycle of continuous improvement that gets embedded in organizations and functions. And last but not the least, for me, a capable and empowered team is certainly very, very important in terms of establishing internal controls, because no one person can do everything, and if your team is capable, and I take pride in the kind of team that I have always led, and empowered, then I think half the battle is won. Quickly, I'll just touch upon some thoughts that I put down on, any sector-specific compliances, reporting issues, what we could do by way of advocacy for it to be different. Obviously, we are aware that regulation is very important, but unfortunately, regulations are all drafted keeping a 1% defaulter in mind, and then 99% of companies which always intended to comply end up having a higher burden of compliances. And certainly, if I look at from a manufacturing standpoint, compliances around GST, the kind of returns that have to be filed, the kind of compliances that are becoming important or asked for could be certainly streamlined, because a huge amount of resources and investments have to be put behind ensuring these compliances. A subject that I have not never understood, and I am glad that I'm not addressing an Institute of Cost and Works Accountants meeting, but this whole idea of cost audit in today's day and age, when very few resources are controlled and very few prices are controlled, to me is a bit of a dinosaur in the room. And I'm not sure who benefits from this whole exercise of cost audit, particularly in our industry where everything is through a willing seller and a willing buyer. I think the other one, which another compliance that was introduced keeping the consumer in mind, but I think the provisions are so draconian that one wonders whether that statute actually deserves to be a part of the Indian system now, which is around legal metrology. I'm fully aware of how and why that was introduced, but today I think it's become more of a nuisance than something that benefits the consumer. And also, I think the kind of fines and penalties that each of our statutes have, and certainly those which threaten the personal liberty, particularly of board members and independent directors, certainly merit a very close look. Why do we treat people with suspicion? Why is every non-compliance treated with malintent? So can something be looked at there? Last section that I had was all about how can manufacturing as a sector be attractive as a potential employer, particularly for budding young chartered accountants. I think this certainly a manufacturing industry will provide an opportunity for a chartered accountant to make impact in all areas that he would have read of. I mean, the curriculum when I passed out was very different, but even if I look at today's curriculum, I think we would have a job for every subject that a person gives in the final exam, be it around costing, around audit, tax, treasury, accounts, indirect taxes. You look at the organization structure in every manufacturing company and you will find a manager doing each of these subjects. So I think the most diverse experiences a chartered accountant could get in a manufacturing environment. It also gives opportunity to work across the value chain, starting from the factory where the product changes form, raw material becomes a finished product, right across to the sales organization where that product changes hands and goes to satisfy a consumer needs. Or I think the area which I think most of us were always enamored about was working in the head office. Head office where all the senior officials sit, where apparently all decisions get taken. So a chartered accountant can work across all the value chain. And this is one industry where I have seen cross-functional moves being certainly welcome and encouraged. I personally benefited from many of these cross-functional moves. And I have of course seen people move across from finance to procurement, procurement to sales, finance to strategy, and all of that is encouraged by in the manufacturing industry. Of course, if somebody is more vertical focus, you can certainly become a subject matter expert. You can become a tax expert. You can become a treasury expert. So you have both options and opportunities possible. You can become a generalist, but you can also become a specialist. And this is certainly one industry where I have seen the CFO being regarded as the true co-pilot. He doesn't sit, while yes, certainly it's the CEO who calls the shots and who runs the company, but the CFO is in no small measure considered as the co-pilot. So that's all I had to share, gentlemen, for my session. I do hope I've been able to keep to time. So thank you very much once again for providing me this opportunity to share my thoughts about the sector which has given me my bread and butter and livelihood. And I wish everybody on the call and all the officials from the Pune branch the best wishes for the season. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, today's last session, today's speaker Harpreet Singh ji. Harpreet Singh ji, am I audible to you?
You are. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. I would like to introduce Harpreet Singh ji. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Child Health Imprints, Singapore, parent entity of ICAI Korea and CHI India. He is a technical strategist having international consulting experience across Europe, US and Asia. His experience spans across diverse industries, enterprise software and services, management consulting, research and development, and skill sets. He is having collective experience of 18 plus year in software, product development and management. He has published several scientific articles and sold medical software products to ICAI, that is subsidiary of Philips and Sun Pharma. I request Harpreet Singh ji, please take the charge of your session. Over to you, Harpreet Singh ji.
Thank you. Is my screen visible along with being audible?
Yeah, sir, your screen is visible. Just one request, we are running very late, so
Sure.
please clear important points only.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you very much, the ICAI team and Abhishek Dhamne, who has been, a close friend, and we have been colleagues for last almost a decade. He was instrumental in helping me sell the business to Sun Pharma, and I will be giving a perspective on healthcare industry, and I'm a CEO side, so I've been hearing for last 30-35 minutes. So I'm a PhD. I'm not a chartered accountant. As you mentioned, my focus is always about being on the executive side, innovation. So I'm not a process guy. I generally solve problems which have not been solved. So usually you are generally the first one. Healthcare as an industry is a 10 trillion market. So I did my PhD in US at University of Wisconsin, which is like number 2 in this field. Key areas in healthcare as a chartered accountant, if you want to understand, you have hospital services, medical tourism, medical devices, pathology, and telemedicine. And in last 20 years of my career, I have worked with Philips, more focused on medical devices. I've worked with Stryker, which is again more medical devices. Sun Pharma, I will say more pathology and drugs. Hospital services, where I'm leading the company right now. But overall, that's the kind of space. In India and especially I'm headquartered in Singapore, so medical tourism is hot in these areas. You have adjacent countries coming to you for specialities, and then telemedicine it's all about treating patients remotely. So just to understand, in terms of healthcare, if you're looking at as a chartered accountant or as an executive, as a business area, you're always trying to reduce costs. So better cost structure, improve quality. And we are seeing with COVID medicine, or we are seeing with other healthcare issues, the whole purpose is always about outcome. You want to improve the outcome. And I would like to, bring out, we speak about technology, we speak about IT, but the world is changing towards artificial intelligence and machine learning. I will say world has already changed. Most of the spectrum, if you speak now artificial intelligence, people say like this was 5 years ago. So, one of the key things you have to always observe is mostly to improve quality and outcome, you have to use technology. And the focus always is about, being consumer centric, with genome, all these, like in COVID, we are doing rat test or RT-PCR. It has to be personalized. So it has to be your genomic sequence or your, personalized to your specific profile. It has to be very intuitive. So as a customer, I can understand what's happening to me. So if I'm going to get angioplasty or, bypass, I need to understand, and it has to be integrated. So in healthcare, you can't do one process without knowing the overall, the electronic health record of the person. So, what I wanted to bring out was the technology aspect in healthcare, the overall space of a multiple $1 trillion economy, and then, what exactly are the challenges. So it's one thing is seeing the space and getting excited, but in last 20 years I realized that if you're setting up a new hospital, you need a lot of capital investment. If you are setting up, let's say, if I'm starting a hospital in US or I'm starting a medtech device company in US, there are a lot of regulatory requirement which differs country to country. Japan has PMDA, Singapore has HSA, US has FDA. So every country has a different regulatory requirements. You have to file for your patents, your intellectual property, your privacy issues, like, what data you can share. Like in Singapore, we are not allowed to share hospital data outside the country boundaries. The hospitals are very strict that we cannot even share hospital data outside hospital boundaries. So you have on one side technology, which is cloud, ERPs, and I was talking about artificial intelligence, but then you have these privacy issues. So you have to balance it out. And the biggest, I will say, the challenge in healthcare, that 2 + 2 is never 4. You were talking about the debit entries and all that stuff, but in healthcare, you can have 2 babies very similar and you put the same drug and the results can be completely different. So every patient is unique. There's no linear relationship. So all these technologies have to focus through these challenges. And this is the domain I am heading. So I just thought, since I have this opportunity, I will just spend 2-3 minutes to explain. So as a parent, I was blessed with twins, 28 weekers, and mostly all these babies who went to NICUs are kept there. So this is the area, intensive care unit, where baby is kept. So this is what I have been working in last 3 years. And unfortunately, we lose close to 4 million of these babies. So out of that $1 trillion market, there is 130 billion NICU market, critical care market, which I am addressing at this moment as a CEO. And we unfortunately lose these 4 million babies in first 27 days. But most of these babies die in countries like China, India, Indonesia, where the spend is quite low. Even if you look at the market spend, in Asia, it's only 21%, which comes primarily from Korea, Japan, Singapore. So there is kind of underserved, vulnerable population, which we are looking after. And the main thing, if you just zoom into this problem, is that in last 10 years, these intensive care units have improved, but the baby being in the middle is still connected to same number of devices. But if you don't have a skilled staff who can understand what is happening with the ventilator, patient monitor, infusion pump, you make a small mistake, and these are like 400, 500 gram baby. So unfortunately, as a couple, we lost a child, and that's when I exited from Philips and I decided to start this. And so you need to basically use technology to solve this problem, which can, help a lot of these parents. So you have almost a loss of $42 billion in this space. And just by doing a better technology view, by connecting all this data, by doing better quality, better analytics, better follow-up, you can almost prevent 10% deaths. So which is what I'm currently working on for last 3 years. And just, as a healthcare, you can have all those domains of medical tourism or telemedicine, and your goal is always about improving outcomes, reducing those adverse events. and trying to find out diseases. So what we have done, just to give a glimpse, like we connect all these equipments, use artificial intelligence, and tell the doctor like 48 hours in advance what's going to happen to the baby. Right now, we as a company serve like Singapore, Korea, Japan. We have hospitals in US. We started primarily in India, and why I wanted to bring this aspect was my biggest frustration as a CEO was to show the value of these businesses. And sometimes whether it's convincing your own CFO about the unit economics, about the valuation, and unfortunately, while I raised funds, we moved the headquarters from India to Singapore to now US. And it was always that the outside industry saw the potential much faster. And current goal as an organization, what I'm looking at is to reach to 200,000 patient data with 46 trillion data points. I want to reduce deaths by 15%, increase the revenue to 12 million. And having this use case, I wanted to highlight to you as chartered accountants, when you're doing something like this, you need to have a very solid technology team. You need a very strong legal team because in healthcare, everything is law. If you lose a child, so we have a potentially, the best doctors across the globe, coming from UCSF, Stanford, KK, which are like the top hospitals in Asia and in US. We have, so Dr. Reddy, Mohan Reddy was one of the initial angels. Tom Teff was the CEO for Medtronic. So you need device players, you need business players, and then you need collaboration. Like, we span at Johns Hopkins to Canadian hospitals to hospitals across, like even Japan. So the flavor which I wanted to highlight to you guys was to, like, where as an executive, I feel like I need more help from chartered accountants who are going to make career in healthcare. Helping in terms of valuation, understanding the unit economics, because when you're saving a life, deciding like what your unit economics is, what exactly is on the table, and what you're helping the customer and the patient. I build my devices in Korea, I sell them in Singapore, US, and it has been a struggle to explain to chartered accountants like on the whole transfer pricing on the supply chain. I understand, like, the laws are there, but as an entrepreneur, you're moving fast and you're trying to win the best of all the world. But I thought like I will give you a perspective of, as an engineer, how we perceive the things and then take it from there. So that's all I had on my side. So thank you very much. Thanks ICAI. And thank you very much to the whole team.
Thank you, sir. Before we do today's formal vote of thanks, I will like to introduce our Vice Chairman of WRC, Vishal Doshi sir is with us. We'd like to facilitate on behalf of Pune ICAI. I request Abhishek, Chairman, and Yashwant sir, please join for. I request our Regional Council member from Pune, Yashwant Kasar sir, kindly give formal vote of thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you, Samir. I would like to make a slight change. I would request CM Murtuja Kachwala sir to please give vote of thanks because this conference, this meet was possible just because of him only. All the speakers, we had few decline from the earlier speaker decided. So he made sure that within a short span of 2 days, we rescheduled all the speakers, and entire credit for this CEO CFO meet, interactive meet, goes to Murtuja Bhai. So I would like to express heartiest our gratitude to Murtuja Bhai, and if you can do a formal vote of thanks on our behalf, that would be. And after that, maybe Yashwant can speak for 1 minute.
Good evening to all. Thank you, Abhishek. First of all, let me thank all the participants who are physically present here, and also the 1,000 plus that I'm given to understand have joined electronically. And I also apologize for the delay in closing this program today. Let me thank first, like all the leaders who joined us. The last was Harpreet. He spoke about the healthcare industry, and we have here with us from the auto industry, Suhash ji. We have from ITS, Anil ji. We had Pramod joining us and speaking to us on the pharma. We had Sandeep Batra ji joining us and talking to us on manufacturing, and even Robin. I think what I could pick up from the little which I was listening, and we as a chartered accountant, whether we are a CFO or an auditor, I think we need to move into a consulting role, add value. And one thing which came out through all this industry discussion was, I think, understanding the whole business like the businessman understands. Like a CEO, as a CFO, as an auditor, we need to understand what is happening in the industry, in the competition, in the market, and I think then we'll be able to add value. And of course, adoption of with the digitalization, automation, adoption of RPA, DA, whatever, continuous control monitoring, and that will be the way forward. We'll have to learn and we'll have to adopt and implement that for the businesses. So I think that is one message which I would take today and also pass on to everyone. Let me thank Nihar Bhai, the Vice President of ICAI, for joining us today, and he's still there outside for one-to-one interaction with all of us. I also want to thank Chitle sir, Jaure sir, even Yashwant. Want to join the chairman of the CMI committee, Rajesh Sharma ji, and the vice chairman Hanshraj Shuk for allowing Pune branch to do this program. And last but not the least, the dynamic chairman of Pune branch, Abhishek, his team, Samir and Kashinath, and all the branch, like the staff members as well. Not only for this interactive meet, but also I'm sure you would know that today Pune branch was instrumental in signing an MOU between the Savitribai Phule University of Pune and also the ICAI, whereby we are saying that when the faculties train the students, ICAI will help them in teaching them about the insolvency and bankruptcy code and GST, etc. And also the university students, FI, SY, TY students can come to the CA offices and get the practical training. So I think a very good MOU and the first of its kind in India. And congratulations to the Pune branch for taking the lead and doing it in 10 days time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Friends, this was a wonderful CFO CEO meet, I would say. And I thank WRC team for being here with us, because today the regional conference is going on. Today is the first day of regional conference, and we are hopping between the regional conference and this program because timing is same, 5 to 8. Nitin Gadkari ji inaugurated that conference, all sessions that will end soon. But thank you, WRC team. In spite of regional conference, you are with us today. Friends, all the senior speakers, they have addressed us and given their thoughts of wisdom to us. What I understood means initially Chitale sir also mentioned in his opening remark that today morning we had one meeting with the CAs who are working in cooperative banking sector. So that is also an industry where CAs can play a major role, and that meeting was in that regard. Friends, we always say that technology is taking over the way we do the work. All the processes are there now. Automation is going on. All robotic processing is going on. So technology is evolving like anything, definitely. But how the role of CA changed now? More than the technology, we need people who have wisdom to use that technology for better purpose. And the analytical mind of a chartered accountant is his best asset. And that is what industry is looking for us in a CA. So it's our traditional role of chartered accountant means accounting, auditing, taxation. That is no more there. The way law is evolving, the way means online compliance is there. There will not be any compliance practice anymore in near future. and the CAs will be required in future only for analytical things and to do the business as a business solution provider. So in that sense, our future success or growth, I would say, will be directly proportional to the way or our ability to adopt the new technology, to learn the new technology, and to learn how to integrate it, applying our wisdom in a better way. So, friends, I thank all of you for participating in today's CFO meet. Participants present over here and online for your patient hearing. In spite we are delayed in our schedule. Thank you all of you for participating. Thanks a lot.